craziest thing I have ever seen. And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid has seen some shit.
In the time before Atlantis sank and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man would claim his destiny. Leaving his Atlantean tribe behind and throwing off the shackles of Lemurian bondage, he sailed the seas as a pirate captain before seizing his place as a king. And now that he has the throne, how long will he be able to keep it? This is The Shadow Kingdom, the classic sword and sorcery tale by Robert E. Howard, adapted by Randy Zimmerman, with artwork by Russ Leach. Available now at fundmycomic.com. In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Good
morning, everybody. I think I finally got this mic thing sorted out, Randy.
Cool.
I think. I hope. I can't actually hear myself today, but
we can hear you.
Nice mic going, yeah.
I can hear you fine.
Nice mic going.
Yeah.
We're running something a little different today.
Yeah.
Took a little work, but we got it going.
Yeah.
Man, it's nice weather out there. It's going to be 88 degrees today.
Beautiful.
Southern Indiana. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Wow.
I'm so happy. Goose pimples. I'm so excited about it. That's finally. I'm getting, and so I've let all of this grow to stay warm, to have like this mane of protection, but I think it's time to trim it up a little bit this weekend.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're going to trim it up a little bit, get a new haircut. Sunday's my birthday. I turned 44 years old, guys.
Uh-oh.
You young squire.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I am the youngest one here today, aren't I?
Yeah, that's who are.
Yeah, by a good bit.
Probably.
That's why I like it with Vaughn's on, because then I feel stately. I feel stately.
I just
Yeah,
had him on.
Underage, right?
Yeah, he's a young feller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's excited about making his comic book.
Yeah.
He said about life. I was tired that day. It's just so full of life. It's like,
Full of life.
yeah,
Full of life. Yep. Randy,
bring
how's your
it
week going,
down,
man?
Sonny.
My week's been all right. Not bad at all. Went out and celebrated our wedding anniversary last weekend. Made a trip
Nice.
up Upper Michigan. It was good.
Ooh.
How long's it been?
33 years. Married 35 years. Met. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. June will be
Congratulations.
24 years for us.
Yeah, our first date was to the theater to watch Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
Met her while I was working at a comic shop. So she kept coming in. She kept coming in dressed nicer and nicer. And she had a son. I had a daughter. And we were going to play date them. And then we decided to play date ourselves. And
Okay.
And there you go.
I was moved
That
in within a week.
communication.
So that was it.
Moved in within a week. Wow.
Yep.
Randy's a quick mover.
Oh, it's just the
That's
chemistry.
dope.
Just
That's what she said.
yeah, just the chemistry.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. 33 years later,
Got real lucky. Yeah.
here you are. Did
Anybody
she
who can
read
put up
comic
with my
books?
crap, there you are. Special
Did-
person.
That's the secret.
That
That's
is.
Yeah, did she
somebody
even
who
read
puts
comic
up.
books?
Tolerance is the key. Yeah, and she read comics. Read every superhero comic at the time.
Mm.
Now she reads practically no comics at all, just paperback books.
Yeah, she was just buying those just to get to you.
No, she was buying them to
Don't
read.
think so.
She was a big fan. Yeah,
I think it'd been funny if it was the other way around.
still a big
Pedro.
geek fan. So
Yeah. Pedro, how was your week?
Oh, it's been amazing. I have a brand new drawing screen. I just got
Okay.
upgraded the video card, and in my 50s, I'm taking tango classes with a lady. It's
Nice.
dude. No, the thing's like dating, like seriously dating at 50 is weird. Yeah. I just, oof. I
Are
don't
you
know.
kind of approaching that age where you're tired of like just kind of screwing around? You're ready to have somebody else to
Yeah.
hang out with.
Yeah, but we're just doing like fun things. But still, like how she introduces me, how I introduce her, it feels dumb. Like she's my girlfriend. Yeah, we're gonna get a pop later. It's like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, you're dating right now, so you've got a gal, huh?
Dude, they don't seem to leave me alone. I'm a delicious piece of chocolate. Just saying.
They look at Pedro.
Taste the
and they-
biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.
Pedro's
absolutely.
got that honey sauce.
Yeah,
Oh,
that lady.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Pedro's got that honey sauce.
Pedro's camera's frozen on my end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just there.
Yeah.
Just there.
I exist.
Yeah.
I'm a real boy.
Doc, welcome to the panel this week.
Thank you.
Doc
Thank
Blalock
you.
is in the house. He's joining us there from wherever it is he is in the world, somewhere in the Midwest, I believe.
No, sir. I'm in the deep south.
Ooh.
Oh, the deep south. That's right. You're in the deep south.
Yeah, I'm 30 minutes outside of south side of Atlanta, but still 2.5 hours northwest of my true home, which is down on the Carolina coast. I will get back there one day before I die.
You see, when I was living in Jacksonville, you were Midwest to me
Yeah,
because there's not much deeper south than Jacksonville. I mean, they got
Well-
mud in their veins down there.
Well, hold on now. Hold on.
Hold
Once
on.
you get
Maybe Alabama.
once you
Louisiana.
get below Georgia and into Florida, that's really just the northern part of Florida is New Jersey. The southern part is Cuba.
No, that's not true at all.
It does not count as a southern
No,
state
no,
at
that's
all.
that's not true at all. It's not
That's
true at all.
absolutely true.
No, dude, I lived there for a decade. It is not true.
that's like
The
saying all
northern-
of Michigan looks like Detroit.
The northern part
Yeah.
of Florida is South Georgia.
Y-
It
yes,
is the most
right on the border.
hillbilly,
Yes, I'll
redneck
grant you. Warner
from-
Robins, that area.
from
I mean, not
about-
Warner
yeah.
Robins. What's the name of the town down there?
Callahan.
No, the Georgia
Oh,
town
my
is the
God.
biggest one down there. What is Waycross?
Wait, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Waycross is more uppity than some of the places in North
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Now it's the middle. Orlando. Orlando's New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah.
middle of the state that's New Jersey and the southern
Orlando,
coast.
Miami. But if you go to Tallahassee,
Yeah.
like,
Once you
that
get below
is-
the panhandle, I guess you would say,
Yeah,
then
below the
it
panhandle.
becomes Joyzy. I remember distinctly. I'd gone down to Miami. I was driving back up, and I stopped somewhere just south of Orlando, and I was sitting in this breakfast place. It wasn't a Waffle House. This guy comes in, and he is the prototypical retiree. You know, he's got the black socks with the sandals and the Bermuda shorts.
I love this.
And
guy.
he comes in, he goes talking to somebody else in the place. Hey, Saul, I got that thing cut up the side of my dog's neck. And I fell on the floor laughing. I thought the dude was running again. No, that was his real voice. I was like,
well, you know something, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know something, guys? Those guys are moving down here now. You're getting a lot of American retirees. Like, hey, you can get no gabagool around here. It's like, whoa. What?
No gabagool.
no gabagool.
No gabagool.
The gabagool. Bring him gabagool, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, cool. Okay.
I love it.
John.
Time to get some recipes. Open a restaurant, Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, there's a beach town called Coronado, like full of Americans. It's just like you guys don't need Spanish there. That's how full of Americans it is.
Pedro's New Jersey Grill.
Yep.
Joyzy Grill.
New
Joyzy Grill.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
Joyzy Grill.
See,
Hey.
so in America, when we do that, we call that gentrification. I wonder what we do when we do what we call it when we do it to another country.
Yeah, when you do it's called
Invasion.
Just all move.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
Invasion.
an invasion.
Gentrification in reverse, though. What do you call that? When the
Feminization.
when the ghetto moves into the nice neighborhood, what do we call that?
Yeah. Oh no, dude! I was watching this. I mean, maybe I'm the only one who can talk about this.
Don't they call that urban renewal?
Yeah,
Something like
there's,
that.
Sure.
There's this teenager who is like mad because the white people are moving out from her city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Chicago or Jersey or something, but just says like, why are they moving out? Dude, like, you can't even have a bike.
That sounds racist.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, but the lady was.
Sometimes stupidity can be very entertaining.
Yeah.
I think it's
saying.
always entertaining. It's always entertaining
Yeah,
from a distance. You don't want it in your living room,
You don't want to live it. Yeah.
right? Not in your living room, but
It's like watching that video of the person who's got their face all tattooed and punctured and's got the nose ring and the lip rings going, I can't get a job anywhere. I can't understand it.
Yeah.
I've got a master's degree in liberal arts studies. Why won't anybody hire me?
Sociology. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a fucktard. That's why.
Gender
No,
studies
the
and I
answer-
can't get a job.
The answer's simple. Are there any circuses anymore?
Exactly.
See.
Yeah, with a face like that, you're a carny. You know,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You're
Like,
one,
that's
yeah.
the perfect job. So, we've got it's election season here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so is
That
that.
does mean the circus is in town
Mm-hmm.
already.
Which means
In
the
every
circus
town.
is in town, yeah.
Yep.
And I am loving the TV ads right now
Oh,
Already.
for the local politicians. Oh my gosh! So
those are the best.
they do this voice, right?
Yeah.
And they're talking this one guy, Hostetter. Hostetter's just another rhino squish. They legit said rhino squish.
Oh,
It's a rhino squish.
One of my favorite
My wife's
dances.
I was like, what is a rhino? She goes, what does that mean? And I said, it's Republican in name only, and they're soft. That's what they're saying. That's their new derogatory.
Yeah.
Rhino squish. And so every time I hear that, I just chuckle. I'm like this is ridiculous. Like, but again, nobody says why should I vote for you? It's just why you shouldn't vote for the other guy.
Yeah.
And it is a circus here, man.
That's what it
It's
is. Yep.
it's like
it
that
reminds me
everywhere.
of the days when at least back in the day when they were doing the campaigning, they ride around the car with the bullhorn on the top of the car, right? Giant
Yeah.
or they would have the band come and playing their anthem song or whatever it is their song was, walking down the streets, and you knew that you only had to listen to it for a minute, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, that it wasn't going to play every commercial break. That it was, they're this way. They'll be back this side of town later this afternoon or whatever. But yeah, it's
Dude.
it's silly.
Here is just like jump on my pirate ship. Because we're in election year 2. It's just like, dude, like who's the biggest crook? Like that's the race. It's like, I'll steal, but I'll do some things. All right?
Yeah.
But I'm stealing. Don't get me wrong.
So let's not get confused.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. I'm stealing. There's no reason to do this if you don't steal.
If
I'm gonna
you
do
choose me as your criminal in chief,
Yeah.
I will do some things. I will pass some of the spoils on to you.
Onto you. But I'm stealing.
I will give you, I will give you your cut, but I am still going to do bad things. Just
I mean,
look the other way.
I need
Thank
to
you.
steal. I have
Appreciate
2 mistresses. They're expensive.
You think this lifestyle is cheap?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah. Come on.
It
come
costs
on.
money. It costs
Yeah,
money.
You see this car, you paid for it, but you got free health care.
Exactly.
There you go.
Hail nerds,
Yeah,
freaks,
so-
and geeks. Creators
Welcome,
Outlet
yes,
says,
let's welcome our
What's up,
chat.
man?
and even
Welcome.
Hey, Will.
oh, here, where is
What's
it?
up?
Can't get it. Oh, I can't even click off of that. That's weird.
Ooh.
Hail
Yeah,
Doc.
streamer's being a
Brother
little
Will.
weird today.
Brother
Yeah,
Will.
It is being
So,
rather screwy.
dude.
Welcome, Glenn. We got Glenn in the house.
Yeah.
Oh no, will Pedro make an appearance?
Yeah.
He has. There's
Glenn has
Wrestling
this
comic book black belt
fixation.
in the house.
Sizzle,
Welcome.
sizzle.
Sizzle. Whoa. Is that
Sizzle,
like?
sizzle.
Oh, okay. It's not drizzle. It's
Welcome,
sizzle.
Amanda Beach
The
is
last
in the
week
house.
on that Shadow Kingdom campaign. It's going to
Yeah.
the printer. I just
What's up,
approved
Amanda?
the print file yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Miss Amanda.
Amanda B says we
Nice to
we
see
are
you.
all in. She says commercials. We are in the digital age. Where's my fast forward? Well,
Oh, he was talking about the
it's
beginning
still
of the
live,
show.
baby. It's still
Yeah.
live. Yeah,
It's talking about the
live.
beginning of the show.
it's still live.
This is live.
Trim the bush. Luke. Yeah, sure.
That's what she said.
Hmm.
I mean, some ladies like that jungle look, though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn says it took Helen 30 years to realize she couldn't live without me. 14 years married in June.
Okay, tying somebody in the basement doesn't count, Glenn.
There you are.
Pedro, the ladies' man.
I try not to,
Here's a
Amanda. I really
Welcome,
try
DM
not
Ray.
to.
Welcome.
So,
And
What's
George
up,
is always
DM
on
Ray?
my mind.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yes.
Please feel free to comment, chat today. Let us know you're here. We know that there's a lot of you watching, a lot more of you watching than who's talking to us. Feel free to talk to us.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we should bop into some articles this morning.
Let's do
Before
it.
we get chatting with Doc here about... Doc, you have a new project, right?
I do indeed, sir.
Oh, nice.
Is that darn dirty bacon? Is what we're talking about today. You've got a book called Damn Dirty Thing out this week, right?
It's been
on
up
my comic.
11 days, I think.
11 days. So we're going to be talking about your project. We're going to talk about, and there's something that we haven't chatted about, Doc, that I do want to talk with you a little bit this morning.
Okay.
Is you transition from being fine arts into
Whoa.
comic book art.
I did indeed.
What I would consider the finer arts. And I just want to talk about that a little bit this afternoon.
Let's talk about your transition. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, you're transitioning. It's important.
Yeah. Yes, when I was transitioning.
Yeah, you were brave and you spoke out and you spoke your truth. And now you're living it. Yeah.
And now you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Brave and beautiful.
Brave and beautiful. You realize that women will always, especially these third wave feminists, will always be like, Lizzo's brave and beautiful and bold.
Stunning
And
and
if you're like, you
brave.
remind me of Lizzo. It's like, oh, you look like Lizzo. They'll be like,
Well,
what?
just look
Yeah,
good.
they get.
They're
Yeah,
not
they
like
get.
that.
That's when they get sideways. And
Yeah, exactly.
wait. I thought she was beautiful.
They
I
want
think
to
Bill-
encourage her
Yeah.
to be what she is.
I think Bill
But they don't
Burr
wanna be
said it
that.
best. I think Bill Burr said it best. Like, looking at an obese woman make women feel safe. That's why be fat. You're no competition for me. So that's why they go like, oh, you're stunning
Maybe
and
that's
brave
what
and
it is.
beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's why, you got that friend that encourages their buddy to do the stupid thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
always.
To eliminate
feel so
competition.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's,
You know what you should do?
yeah.
You should light that M80 and sit on it and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like,
Yeah. Or the typical warning that we older guys give to the young guys as they're starting out. You see the kid in your shop and he's about to stick a pin or a nail in the wall socket. You go, well, I certainly wouldn't do that if I were you.
oh,
It's like, hold on. Don't stop him. He'll learn.
Yeah. He won't do it twice.
Right.
Well, guys, let's get into the news and see what's going on. Yeah, we got that crispy bacon. Crispy bacon is in the house. Check this out, guys. We got some news. Exclusive Oni to make first 3 issues of EC Comics returnable. That's big.
Yeah, it is.
That'll help retailers.
Let's all yawn.
For A and B covers, no minimum required, as Oni Press plans to launch the first new EC Comics since 1956.
Wow.
Yep.
The publisher has announced that the A and B cover of the first 3 issues of the first 2 EC Comic series will be fully returnable with no minimums or qualifications. You know what? That might actually help the FOC for issue 2. If they know that, hey, I can return issue 1 and 2. But by issue 3, they should know how many they're going to need. So they shouldn't have to return.
It's Oni
That's
Press.
not a bad idea.
You already know how many you're going to need.
Right, you know, like
Anyway,
True.
sorry for that editorial comment. Did I say that out loud? I guess I did.
Yeah, you
as we
did.
prepare for EC's full-scale return in the pages of epitaphs from the Abyss and Cruel Universe, in the weeks and months ahead, Oni is committed to giving retailers the maximum amount of support for this vitally important line of titles with advanced pre-order materials.
Wait a second. I didn't step in that one. All right, miss.
Yeah, I
Okay.
almost choked when I said it. Okay.
Yeah.
Point of purchase giveaways and new tools to cross-sell the already substantial amount of classic EC material on their shelves, said Oni Press president and publisher Hunter Goranson in a statement accompanying the announcement. But there is perhaps no more powerful tool than unqualified full returnability, and Oni is proud to offer it across the first 3 issues of both our twin EC horror and science fiction launch titles, which will allow our retailers partners to accurately gauge their readership for EC's Pull No Punches return this summer. Like that.
I
Pull No
question.
Punches.
Yeah, I question that Pull No Potions remark.
What kind of punches are they not pulling?
Yeah.
It's like twisting a knife.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm kind of liking that, like, Eldritch horror cover there with the mouth in space. That looks cool. But
Right.
They're going to have to go a long way to get me.
yeah, I don't trust them. That's the thing.
So when it comes to pulling no punches,
Pulling no books either.
no, here's what I was thinking. Okay, here's what this is the thought that comes to mind. It might be, maybe this is a little spicy for this morning, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go there, right? So I was watching CMT the other night. That's the country music.
Yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Yes.
You know, they
Mind
actually
your
play
business.
videos like they used to, but it's
They do
late at
sometimes.
night.
Yeah,
late at night. Yeah.
But I was watching Dodgeball, the movie, on that channel.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, me too. I saw that over the weekend.
So I was
Dodgeball
watching
is
Dodgeball,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
The
I
Ocho.
love that movie.
Son,
El Ocho.
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Dodgeball, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So he says a lot of things in that movie, and they don't censor hardly anything.
Nope.
But he keeps calling the girl a dyke, right?
Yeah.
And they muted that. But when he called another guy a queer in a derogatory term, they didn't mute that.
No.
So I thought maybe because he was using it as a derogatory, they muted it. But when they didn't mute queer as using it as derogatory, I didn't understand it. And so I'm sitting there trying to figure out, I'm like, I don't get these censorship rules now.
No.
And finally, I just looked at my wife and I said, you know what? It tells you who's in charge.
Yeah.
Who can you not make fun of, right?
Right.
That's who your masters are. Like, those are the people that are in charge, right?
Oh,
So
dude.
I've determined that as soon as men started calling themselves women and lesbians, right? Like I said, hey, I'm a woman, but I'm a lesbian, which just sounds like straight with more steps to me. And so, but he, so I'm like, well, as soon as we did that, those men were like, you can't call us dykes anymore. Yeah, I think that's what it is, because it's white men that are doing it. So let's point the finger right back.
This
back
is so confusing.
Like send them, right?
This is so confusing.
Yeah, it's like wait a second. They're just white liberal men that realized that they were losing control.
So really, what you're saying is censoring the word dyke from a movie is actually white supremacy.
Yeah.
Let's make that leap. Let's do it, guys. Yeah.
It's perfectly logical in today's context.
So that was as I'm watching this stupid movie, I was like,
wait, but
this is funny. I sometimes you follow a train of thought and you realize this is funny. There's a joke in here somewhere, and Randy found it.
I have a morphology question here. So does dyke refer to only white lesbians, or is like lesbians in general?
It was supposed to be, I guess, lesbians in general, but it's more mannish, more
like
they more masculine,
lumberjack looking.
That's those untagged bull dykes.
Dressed like a construction worker.
Yeah,
riding a Harley.
I just always called them cool. Like those were the ones you wanted to hang out with. They were the cool ones.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I always had problem with one because like she thought she could kick my ass for some reason.
Oh, there was no doubt. There was no doubt that my friend that was like that could definitely kick my butt.
Yeah, dude. No, but the thing's like
it was like she could probably bench press me. I'm
like the thing's like I had like 40 pounds on her. I had like 40 pounds on her, and she wasn't just particularly strong. She was just like very boisterous. And I don't know, for some reason, it's like I'm gonna go for the biggest guy in the room. She always went for me. I was like,
look, but that's indicative of small people in general.
Yeah,
small people like to find, when they have like little man syndrome, they like to find the biggest person in the room to prove themselves. And I mean, I don't know how many times I went into a new school and I'm in a fight in the first day with some little guy, So crazy.
So you see what Glenn's saying, like Hans Brinker. Do you know that story?
I don't.
Silver Skates.
Yeah, he saved the Netherlands by fingering a dyke.
That's right.
Yeah.
You mean
Save the town?
The dyke.
Yeah. A dyke. Yeah.
He saved the town by jamming his finger in the dyke. Yeah.
Yeah. We're struck. To all of my Christian brothers and sisters out there watching this morning, thinking you were going to get some wholesome talk, I do apologize.
Sorry about that.
I do apologize.
It's just words.
But so the guy that he
might not have been wholesome, but it was some
plugged the hole in the dyke.
Jesus Christ.
We're way off the rails, folks.
Yep.
Hojo in the house. Good morning, Hojo.
What a story, Mark.
I want the record to reflect that I'm not the one that derailed the show this morning.
No.
Smiller syndrome,
Smiller syndrome.
You go to Smiller's channel, and it's like, and it's off the rails.
Yeah.
It's like, who's transitioning? Transitioning this morning, Dr. Ben. We're going to talk about Doc's transition.
Transition,
Doc has
and how brave he was.
He still sometimes dabbles.
Yeah, here
That's
and there.
what got me started on that whole transition thing. There you go. I was watching CMT, guys, and you know what was on right after that? Joe Dirt was on after that.
Nice.
That movie's great too.
Oh.
What an underrated movie.
Especially the Native American. That guy's hilarious, man.
Just what I want to watch when I turn over to CMT is
Kick and Wing,
Kick and Wing.
Kick and Wing, and I'm pretty sure Kid Rock was not acting in that movie.
No, that's Kid Rock. No, that's him.
That's him.
I loved him in that.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandy. Can I come too? Can I come to Dairy Queen too? I love that, man. It's such a great movie. All the cameos in there, man.
Oh.
Did you hear that they are doing another Happy Gilmore.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm only got him.
I don't know about that. Like Grown Ups too, I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed Grown Ups, the first one, but the second one was like, eh.
Yeah. Hey, and since we've digressed, my daughter sent me an article this morning.
Okay.
She thought might be pretty interesting for Nerd Bacon. I'm not going to pull it up, but it's right here on
That's what she said.
Skeptics.stack exchange or whatever. And it says, in the Netherlands, citizens with disabilities receive money from the government as part of the Hookers for the Handicapped program to pay for sexual services up to 12 times a year.
Lord have mercy.
So they wheel those stuff to.
Yeah.
Bliss. Nice.
My
It's
daughter.
like, yeah,
The government, the government files
have you
that
seen
under
this?
plumbing. It's actually pipe maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She said, have you seen this? She says, no wonder people in the Netherlands are just so easygoing.
They are.
I'm like,
Here's
you
your,
have to
here's
be,
your
but, I mean,
coupon. Here's your coupon and some KY jelly. Have a good night.
Plus, it
goodness.
keeps that red light zone going.
Working, yeah.
Right. So
Spreading the money around the economy.
Since this is election season for the states and for you down there in the southern more parts, Pedro.
The other America.
The other
America. The America en Español. Yeah.
If someone stood on that platform,
Yeah.
Right?
how many votes? What kind of votes do you think they would get?
Okay. The thing is, like, you have to understand that for some reason, there's very few Panamanian women that do that profession. So it's mostly Colombians and Venezuelans. For some reason, I'm not saying anything bad about Colombia or Venezuela. It's just the reality. So if we do that, basically what we would do, it would be redistributing our funds to those two countries, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they live in, like, as frugal as possible in Panama and do kitty work, and then they send the money to their countries. So it wouldn't work.
We're gonna have Glenn on sometime to tell us about some of those stories.
Yeah. You rascal.
Wow, full returnability. They better be good. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get back to this article.
Yeah, please.
Let's get back to this article.
Finish the pain. Finish the
Luke
pain.
forgot to take his pills this morning. Okay, I mean it's ADHD is taking control. So.
Yeah.
All right, so the new line will launch with Epitaph from the Abyss #1, a 40-page issue that will go on sale on July 24th of 2024. Like the original EC comic Oni.
Onis will be anthologies.
Yep. And Epitaphs from the Abyss #1 will include 4 self-contained stories by 4 writer-artist teams, Brian Azzarello and Vlad Legostev.
Legostev.
It is what it is, man. I'm gonna say it wrong. Chris Condon. I almost said
Sorry.
yeah, you know he got picked on in school a little bit. Peter Krause.
Okay.
Peter Krause, Jay Hotham, and George Fornes. Is that Fornes or Fornes?
Fornes.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story about Bertha, my mom. My mom, in her later years, got real religious, right? And if she thought that I was having relations with a girl I was dating, she would just yell "forny" at me, short for fornication.
Fornicator. Oh, okay.
Yeah, for forny. She'd go, "Forny, forny, forny," and I'm like, "Mom, you gotta stop. You gotta stop it." She would do she would just yell "forny" at people, and I'm like, "Mom, you really have to stop that. Like, it's inappropriate." Yeah. So when I read his name, I'm
gonna send you to a home.
It's Fornies that makes me laugh. So it's a little inside joke makes me chuckle.
Well, they're actually kicking these titles out monthly.
Hey, speaking of Netherlands, there's a.
Do you know what would have been funny? If Chris Condon was working with Peter Pecker, I want to make it
or something. Yeah, some of her Cox would have been funny. Yeah.
Yeah, on Cox. Yeah.
Why are we not putting together these creative teams?
Yeah, exactly.
So that the junior high boy and all of us can laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Snicker. Sure. The issue will also introduce the new EC Horror host, another throwback to the original line, and we'll have an A cover by Lee Bermejo.
Bermejo.
Whatever. Not everybody's Spanish, dude.
No,
And
that's
cover.
a Spanish name. That's a Spanish
it is.
last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He's over there like, it's Starantino
Yeah.
and Stuart.
And Dave Stewart.
Stuart.
That was Steve Work.
I
Stewart.
love you, Pedro.
Yeah. Stewart. Yeah, just-
Pedro, you're one of my dearest friends, I'm telling you.
Oh, dude.
Okay, anyway,
it's
there's creative
reciprocated.
teams, guys. The second title is Cruel Universe, launching in August of 2024, and with an A cover by Greg Smallwood, and B cover by J.H. Williams. I'm so off the rails today.
Oh.
It's
That's what she said.
Let's see if they got any these covers for us to look at.
That's it.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
That's nice.
Look at them warty legs.
Very painterly. I like it.
That is neat.
Yeah.
That's
It's
not
very
my best.
like this is very like graphic design, like
Yeah, it looks like it could just be a
That's
fun
better.
copy.
Yeah.
It's
I like it.
Not my bag.
yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. It's moody.
Yeah. I mean,
I like
it
this.
definitely tells a story.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
So
this is
really,
good.
all they really licensed was that EC bullet for them to destroy and
Pretty
stuff.
much, yeah.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
let's see.
I
how
don't
it
know. They're
goes.
doing a great job with the covers, though. I'll have
Yeah,
to
I like
say.
Like I said, they're gonna have to go a long way to
Mm-hmm.
convince me. I'll definitely look at them, but
Yeah.
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 That's
I'm not holding
that-
my
the
hopes
thing-
up.
the thing that bothers me is that EC is classic. EC is the top of the best of the very best, and the people that they've got listed in there, none of them, except for maybe Philip Hester, I would consider to be on that or close to that level. So, I wish them the best because the retailers right now desperately need something to make some money on, and science fiction and horror were EC staples, but I just can't help but feel that they've licensed the little EC bullet there just to destroy it. More stepping on comics and comics history,
Yeah,
That's
Glenn
just my
pretty
opinion.
much did get me struck with that comment. I pulled a what's that guy's name? A Ron Burgundy. And I just read the comment without reading the comment first. I just read what was on the prompter. Yeah,
Just says, I love this.
definitely got me.
Fleming now. I really want to know.
I thought that was remastered.
It's so embarrassing to have small wood. Yeah.
There are pills for that.
Oh, I thought this was remastered EC work.
It's brand new.
Some things just deserve to be left alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And given their
Yeah.
place in history and given the respect it deserves. I don't see any of that here. Anyway, don't get me started.
I'm gonna refill my
drinking-
coffee. I'll be right back.
I'm drinking more coffee myself. So
Vault. It's Post Malone's universe. Guys,
Huh?
I have to admit, confession time. Post Malone is my guilty pleasure. I love listening to Post Malone music. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Who's Post Malone?
Yeah.
No.
Michael
He's a
Bay, Brad Fuller's Platinum Dunes developing.
He's a singer, yeah. Launching with Vault OGN, Michael Bay and Brad Fuller's Platinum Dune developing. Double Diamond recording artist Post Malone is writing a graphic novel for Vault Comics as the introduction to a new universe he is creating, with producers Michael Bay and Brad Fuller's Platinum Dunes joining in to develop a feature film based on the story the company's announced. Vault will publish the graphic novel that launches the story in 2025. The story follows a mysterious armored 18-wheeler, apparently sent back from the heavens to medieval Europe to battle a horde of demons infesting the continent. Dude, that actually sounds fun.
An 18-wheeler, like a truck.
An
That sounds
armored
like something right up
18-wheeler,
Michael Bay's alley, that's for sure.
It really
Yeah.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bay Transformers and Brad Fuller formed Platinum Dunes in 2001. Sorry. It's responsible for The Purge and A Quiet Place franchises. I love A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
That's
and the first
Jim
two
Halpert
purges were
did that.
cool. Yeah, the first two purges were cool. Then it got goofy.
Yeah, along with 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films and many
Oh.
others.
I
I'm
would've
looking
kept those
forward
on the
to.
rest.
Okay, I pulled this article up because we talk about people tearing things down or
Mm-hmm.
screwing things up. I want to talk about people making something.
Yeah.
And Post Malone's a creative dude, right? And he's
Yeah.
a dork. He's a weirdo, right?
I'm not familiar with him, so I have no opinion. I might look it up.
I can't play any of his music. I'll get
Obviously,
double
yeah.
struck. I don't want to get double struck today.
I'll do it on my time. Don't worry.
Yep.
But no, his stuff is good. I like it.
Okay.
And but a mysterious armored 18-wheeler, apparently sent back from the heavens to medieval Europe to battle a horde of demons infesting the continent.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like a trauma movie, like.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in.
like
I'm
it.
in.
Mm-hmm.
It's original. I ain't heard anything like it.
You know what? Like Planet Terror, like that. Like stuff like that. Oh.
Hojo says maximum overnight.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
a good one, yeah. I like
Perfect.
that one. That's a good one.
Maximum Overdrive.
Perfect,
Remember that movie?
perfect.
Like with the Green Goblin truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was
Yeah.
awesome. And AC/DC.
Abrams Comics Art to publish Frank Miller graphic novel.
Oh, huh.
Novels, plural.
Novels with an S.
Novels.
Plurals.
Novelas.
Abrams Comic Arts will publish book format products by Comics
Auteur.
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 That's a fun word. We
Yeah.
don't say that often enough, do we? Auteur.
Auteur.
Frank Miller.
Miller.
Wait, is auteur something that you call yourself, or that you have to wait for someone else to call you?
I mean, if you call yourself auteur, you deserve to be slapped, I think. That's something that people say about you.
It's like being an artiste instead
An
of an
artiste.
artist.
Yeah, I'm an artiste.
Yep.
It's like, I'm humble. Well, you can't say you're humble.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I'm especially proud of my humility.
Or you can't call yourself the GOAT. Someone else has to do that.
Right.
And as long as they're calling you the GOAT, you have to say, I'm not.
I'm not the goat.
Yours
Whoa,
better be for
whoa,
me.
hey. Yeah.
Because if you're ever like, I'm the GOAT, then you're like, yeah.
Like, I'm the goat. Yes. Like, you're the goat. Yes.
Well, a donkey.
Better recognize.
A donkey may be GOAT. No, not so much.
Oh, yeah, dude. Frank Miller shouldn't be drawing anymore. Have you
Yeah.
seen his Scrooge McDuck?
It's pretty bad.
Bless his heart.
Back
Bad,
in the day, he
dude.
was like, I don't know what's going on. Abrams' unique distribution and outreach ensures that the work of our imprint will continue to connect with fans, no matter where they may be, Miller said of the new publishing partnership. 2 October releases are planned as the first titles under the new publishing agreement, Ronin Rising and Pandora. Ronin Rising is a new story in the world originally created by Miller in his 1983-1984 DC series.
Nice.
It will be written by Miller, art by Miller and Philip Tan, and inks by Daniel Henriquez.
That was
There
good.
will be, I got it, didn't I?
Yeah, Enriquez.
There will be
yeah.
two comic arts editions released simultaneously. Words are hard today for some reason. Simultaneously. At the high end will be a deluxe collector's edition, which, in addition to the new story, will feature a new foreword by Jim Lee, a 49 pages of bonus material, including all the spreads from the original series, presented in full landscape format as Miller originally intended. This edition will feature a new cover by Miller.
Oh, goody.
Comic Arts will also publish a manga-sized edition of Ronin Rising under its new manga imprint, which has now been named Kana. Comic Arts announced that it would be adding manga to its catalog last spring as part of the expansion of its remit as a full division of Abrams. Pandora, inspired by illustrator fairy tales Miller, read with his mother growing up, will be co-written by Anthony Marinville and Chris Silvestri, with art by Emma Kubert, daughter of Andy Kubert and granddaughter of Joe Kubert.
Is she any good?
I don't know. The story follows a girl who finds a relic with the power to warp reality and begins to use it to change the world around her, sowing the seeds of chaos. Announcements of single-issue comic series and additional titles will come at a later time, the publisher said. What are your thoughts on this new Frank Miller? Are they just capitalizing on a name?
Yes.
Exploiting an old man?
Mm-hmm. At least it's not ink mixed with blood. So at least it's not that. But yeah,
right.
Feels exploitative.
They announced Frank Miller Presents over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And had some stuff that they were working on that I thought they were self-publishing. But apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently they decided to sign up with Abrams. Maybe they got a taste of how much work goes into actually publishing something and decided to team up with an official publisher.
Yeah, it ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
Please don't let
So I
Mr.
looked
Miller
up,
draw it. No, he's drawing it, baby.
I looked up Emma Kubert's art. She can draw. Nothing to scream about. But
I mean, I asked because I'm not familiar. So
me either.
I had to look up the word eponymous.
I don't see the Kubert legacy in her art, but she's got a little bit of a young adult kind of manga-ish feel to her stuff.
Well, that's what they're trying to go for.
That's
so. Hey, Randy, can you read this one for us?
That's a market to hit. New Abrams manga print, Kana, to focus on adult titles. Abrams Comic Arts is launching a new imprint, Kana, that will include both manga and manga-inspired French graphic novels. That's where the adult comes in.
There you go.
Publishers Weekly reports plans call for between 40 and 60 releases per year. And the list will focus on properties for adults, eschewing, I hate to be skewed, the teen-friendly shonen and shoujo titles that are the backbone of the market at the moment. The Kana titles will be high-quality paperbacks printed on good paper with the first signature in color. And the imprint will include both classic and contemporary titles as well as art books by manga creators. Kana will tap into the older market as millennial readers and Gen Z will continue to age up and will want to find titles to fit their growing tastes, informs Vice President and Publisher. Is that Adolphe Lachat?
Adolf.
It's just
Adolf. All right. Adolphe Lachat, who will helm the new division, told Publishers Weekly.
I would be scared if they told me, hey, you have a meeting with Adolf. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on now.
Jesus.
What?
So I thought he would pronounce that first name Adolphe.
Adolphe.
Yeah, you rather do that.
Ku Klux Klan. Oh, no.
Adolphe Lachat. The publisher announced six upcoming titles.
Hey, your mic's cutting in and out, brother. We can't hear you.
Yeah. I can hear me. You can't hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah, but you were...
All right.
You went in a can for a minute.
That's weird. Must be the software right now. I heard me. I was coming. Anyway, the publisher announced six upcoming titles, 3 manga, 3 French. Leviathan, a 3-volume sci-fi tale by Shiro Kiro. Kuroi. Manhole.
Sorry.
A 3-volume horror murder mystery by...
Man, everyone's gay once in a while.
Right. Horror murder mystery by Tetsuya Susui.
Hey.
Eden of Witches, an ongoing series, fantasy series. An ongoing series, fantasy series. Get an editor. By Yumiji Stars.
Where's the editor?
By Brandon Arias. Silence, a shonen-style action series by Jan Voynir, and Space Punch by ZD.
That's an easy one to say.
No.
An action series about two brothers, that one straight-laced, one a slacker, whose lives are changed by magical artifacts. The 3 Japanese titles were published in French by the Paris-based independent manga publisher Kayun.
All right, so they've already been pre-released then, apparently. But so what something he set up here is we're going to make it more mature for the aging audience. That's what they said about comics.
Mm-hmm.
And let's
I've
be
yet
honest,
to
it
see
hasn't
it.
helped our industry. No, it hasn't helped our industry.
You're always welcome to try.
Yeah, it hasn't helped our industry at all because we're not bringing in new readers. I think what they're going to do is they're going to abandon new readers to try to keep giving content to the old readers. I'm afraid that might happen. That's what happens when corporations get involved.
Abrams is owned by Belgian firm Media Participations. Abrams Comic Arts recently became a separate division.
There was absolutely nothing in that article that made me remotely interested in anything that they had to offer.
Nothing.
3 more.
But guys, chat, you let us know.
Yeah.
Was that interesting to you?
Okay, Russ said it best.
Like bollocks.
Yeah. You see, Russ is a wordsmith, man.
Yeah.
What's that? Schicklgruber.
Schicklgruber. Yeah.
Here's an article about the
Touch me on my Schicklgruber.
The great Art Baltazar. Comic Books for Kids announces annual awards. New comic by Art Baltazar. Funko founder Michael Becker and the thing moved. DC Group editor Katie Kubert accept awards. Yay! Comic Books for Kids. Huh?
That's another Kubert. Is that another Kubert?
They're everywhere.
Fucking Kuberts are coming out of the walls.
Yeah, out of the walls. Jesus Christ.
CB4K, the nonprofit that distributes comics and pop culture items to children in hospitals and cancer centers, presented its annual awards and made some key announcements during its first ever panel at C2E2 on April 26th.
That dinner tolerance, yeah.
Art Baltazar announced that he was creating a special comic for distribution to kids in hospitals, although he will offer a small number of copies for sale, with the proceeds going to CB4K.
Now, I fully support CB4K. They're doing a very good thing. I don't know anything about the rest of this, but yeah.
Funko founder Michael Becker accepted the company's Pop Culture Award with a pledge of continued support for CB4K, as did Brittany McManus of CGC. DC Comics Group editor Katie Kubert accepted the Publisher Award for DC Comics and highlighted her company's continued support for the cause. CB4K is working with DC plus DC to produce 2 new reprints of Superman number 39 with variant covers by Laura Braga and Sean McManus. Grooming. At the panel, CB4K founder and president Mark Weiss also said the organization has a retailer kit in the works and is also working on retailer affiliate program. Here's a full list of the CB4K awards. Hi, we need to get noticed. Retailer award. Craven Comics. Hi, we need to get noticed. Retail award. Lone Star, my comic shop. Retail award to Graham Cracker Comics. Oh, yeah. Pop Culture Award to Funko.
Oh, nice.
Game Publisher Award to Biazzo. Distributor Award to Lunar.
That's Paizo.
Nice.
Is that Paizo? Not Paisan? Paizo.
No, it's Paizo. That's a competition for D&D. It's Paizo.
Yeah.
It's Paizo. No, it's Paizo. It's a competition for D&D.
It doesn't matter.
Publisher Award DC Comic. Publisher Award, especially for their contribution to kids' comics, Xenoscope Entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah, name 3 kids' books that they've printed.
Viz Media.
Never mind. Publisher Award, Viz Media. Just an
That's
award to
romantic.
Art Baltazar in lieu of payment, probably. Award to CGC. Award to Michael Negan. Hey, do the work. You'll get a lot of notice. Another award to
Paying
Search
exposure.
Media. Another award to Tom Wen. Another award to BCW. And another award to Kelly Junter of Multiverse Fundraiser. She jumps universes in order to make money.
Mhm.
Is that Junter or Gunter? Like, I would want
Gunter.
to say Gunter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Gunter. I'll call it Kelly Gunter. Yes. For more information on CB4K, and I can't read that.
Yeah.
That. And its sister organization, Comic Books for Troops, visit the CB4K website.
Okay.
You know
Comic
that
Book
lyric
for
in that Queen song?
Which one?
Nothing really matters.
Nothing really matters.
Here's your buddy Rob.
Anyone can see.
Rob Salkovich.
Salkowitz.
Oh, our friend.
Here's a little something to laugh at. Buy the book, dollar
Love this
signs
guy.
or danger signs for comics in the latest book scan figures. We get a group of retailers together that we want to say represents all of the other retailers, but it's really a small slice.
No, remember we read that last week.
And,
They had
and
like
we make our
300
best
some-
guess. Huh?
No, remember we read that last week. It was like 300 and some different retailers that they opened up to everybody, and so they had, like 300. I think it was like a 350-ish, something like that.
That could be
Retailers
2/3 of the market now, as far as we know.
Yeah, that's what we said last week. Yeah.
Did his drawing get a haircut? This is a new.
His drawing, yeah, that's new. That was 3/21/24 is when this one was done. This is updated.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You might have seen Brian Hibbs' annual analysis of the 2023 book scan numbers over at The Beat a couple of weeks ago. Hibbs did his usual painstakingly thorough job grinding through all the category sales figures to dig out a few headlines, namely that Scholastic remains the leader by such a margin that you have to rescale the sales charts to see anyone else, and that DC Comics and Marvel Comics have simply vanished from the book market for all intents and purposes. Here's also another story about the market for adult, e.g., not younger reader, graphic novels being driven much more by back catalog than by front list. That's because the old stuff is classic and the new stuff is
Good.
anyway. New stuff is absolutely. All these trends raise a couple of questions considering the importance of the bookstore channel to the overall health of comics publishing. Does Scholastic's success help anyone but Scholastic? The first thing that jumps off the spreadsheet is how complete Scholastic's domination of the marketplace has become. The company owns the top 9 slots and 16 of the top 20, driven by the maniacal force of Kid Lit, that is Dav Pilkey. According
Dav
to
is
Hibbs'
owning it.
chart, which does not include the graphic novel-ish edge case of Jeff Kinney's Wimpy Kid franchise from Abrams. Okay, Wimpy Kid's not really a graphic novel or a comic.
No, it's not even ish to me.
Which dismays me why he would even mention that it wasn't on the list. This is, of course, awesome news for the Scholastic Graphics imprint, which continues to develop new authors and franchises, as long as you can tell a political line, like Scott Cawthon's Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, let's not get me started. For parents who want to get their little ones reading and occupied, and for Pilkey himself. All I wish is that Pilkey gets the monetary rewards that he deserves for his sales.
Yes.
I imagine it's also good if you own a bookstore that can turn that kind of volume and traffic into add-on sales or cross-selling to parents and older siblings. And again, I'm sorry to interrupt again, Rob does not read these books.
No.
Very few of us actually sit down and read what Dav Pilkey is making. And if you're in comics, you need to do that because Dav Pilkey has done more to gain more comic readers into this industry than Marvel and DC in the last like 5 years than Marvel and DC have done in the last 30. And you need to read these books in order to understand why. It's actually great stuff, and I understand why the kids are buying it. It looks bad when you first open it up. You go, hey, any junior high school kid could draw this stuff, you know. But once you sit down and you read it and you see what he's actually doing, it gets kind of impressive. Abrams was cited in Ed Piskor's suicide note as the company that canceled their $75K deal with him because of a lying whore. Dr. Ben says.
Yeah.
That was not Rob in the article.
That was not Rob in the article. No. Dr. Mass Retro Elixir.
With such authority.
Says Art Baltazar is a good guy, always giving sketches away to kids, fun to chat with. Art Baltazar is one of the few really good positive things that we can talk about when it comes to this industry. Randy is nailing the tone of this article. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes,
Bass.
you are.
I'm
Yes,
trying.
You are. Great job.
Way to weave the chat into the article, Randy. That was beautiful. Beautifully done.
But more than
seamless.
15 years into the scholastic-led explosion of young reader graphic novels. Scroll down. Scroll up, please. Scroll up.
That was so good. Sorry.
It's worth asking if this is doing the wider industry or even the medium of comics much good. Again, it's certainly not awesome for some publishers angling for younger readers who are getting around into paste by scholastic total market domination. But more fundamentally, these seem to have come full circle from comics aren't just for kids anymore. The comics seem to be just for grown-ups now. Is anyone but kids buying graphic novels in big numbers? It's quality, you idiot. It's quality. Kids,
we sound like morons.
I want Rob to write Lion Horse in comic books. The article. I'm so sorry. That just cracked me up so bad. I can't even pay attention anymore.
Nobody.
I
Yeah,
think we broke Pedro. We broke Pedro.
Oh, you silly, simple bastard.
This shows the naive.
Your mic's doing that thing again, man. I can't hear you.
I'm still here. It's got to be the software, man. I haven't touched the mic or anything.
There you go. You're back now.
This just shows the lack of education on the part of the industry and the people in it about the very art form that they're supposed to give a shit about. Sorry, give it that they're supposed to care about.
No. It is what it is.
It is what it is. There's been a lot written about the differences in generational audiences for comics, including some by me. But one thing that has received less attention is the impression left on kids as they age up. Oh, that's funny. For again, he ain't reading what's coming out there. Grooming, anyway. For many in my Gen X cohort, and for the boomers before us, raised on ECs or Marvel Silver Age material, some comic stories seem slightly more sophisticated than average kid lit, especially ones that required some awareness of the wider world. It was a rite of passage to progress from Archie to Richie Rich to Detective Comics and X-Men. He got that mixed up.
I'm going to have to stop you there. I never read Archie or Richie Rich. I started out reading Marvel, DC, Superman, Spider-Man a lot.
Back when they were
X-Men.
good.
That's what I read as a 8, 9, 10-year-old.
Right.
What happens is people like this, people in general, they think that you have to dumb down or talk down to kids and their material. If you read what Pilkey's doing, he's not talking down to them. This content, you would be like, this could be in a more general-aged kind of book. You know,
right.
It is not. So it's clear that he has not read these books,
No.
and he's simply like, well, it's kid stuff, so I'm more mature and sophisticated than that.
He's
No,
looking at
you know,
these sales figures and jumping to bad conclusions is what it is.
Right.
Right.
There's always a reason behind sales figures because that's a transfer of money.
It's also an insult to Pilkey as a writer.
Very much
to
so.
say that
yes.
he's not writing sophisticated stuff for just because kids like it.
Yep.
No, but that sounds like a little bit of jealousy too. So.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I think you nailed that one, Pedro. Right on. That progression though is incorrect. They go from Richie Rich to Archie and to Detective to X-Men.
Yeah.
Because Richie Rich is a younger based audience.
Yeah.
Archie skews slightly older. Detective and X-Men skew incredibly older now. So
yeah, incredibly older.
Yeah.
By feeding the endless appetite of preschoolers and elementary school kids with material that is wonderfully, proudly, unabashedly juvenile, have current kid-oriented graphic novels cemented the medium itself as an artifact of early youth, something to be left behind at a certain point in development? And again, this idiot is not looking at the industry because they're going, because Marvel and DC are so inept. And the other companies have such a small exposure only in the retail shops, the direct market, and they're not getting any look outside of that market. The kids are actually going from Scholastic to manga.
Yep.
Wonderfully, proudly, unabashedly juvenile.
It's a natural transition.
To describe this show.
Yeah.
I'd be proud.
Yeah.
And manga is multi generational. I mean, there's manga out there for everybody. So once they're in manga, once they're used to reading right to left, then they go crazy in it because it is so entertaining and so a lot of it is very beautifully done and has a lot of quality to it. The money goes where the quality flows. It's that simple. You know, they have to find value in their entertainment in order for you to get that money back. It's a real simple concept that Marvel and DC just can't look at now because they're too busy pushing their agendas.
Yeah. But you don't care who draws it? You just want it to be good? Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Certainly there's no clear path from Dogman to almost anything sold periodically in the direct market, despite plenty of hopes and efforts spent attempting to build those bridges. That's because all the retailers are hostile to any comics intentionally made for kids. But anyway.
Yeah. Well,
there was go ahead.
Specifically spoken about your title, Hero Bot Zero.
Mm-hmm.
A wonderful title. Fun, well drawn.
Meant to be fun and read by everybody, by the way.
A lot of fun, but suitable for kids.
Yep.
It doesn't have market viability. It wouldn't be competitive in the market.
Yeah,
that's
figure.
what one distributor said.
Wrap your head around that
book.
for a while.
Yeah. They said that about hybrids.
Yeah.
It's not viable in the market.
Well,
market viability.
You're not viable in the market if you're not on board with the message.
Well, you got to have titties too.
Yeah, the message. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I would hope that people are starting to get past that a little bit, but
No.
I don't think they are. I think that
it's going to take a little while still for that pendulum to start swinging in the reverse direction.
Yeah. But the good news is, Randy, as I think you and I are of an age, we know that pendulum does swing back the other way.
Yes, sir.
And the further you have pushed it to your extreme, the faster that swing back is coming.
Yeah. But anything
and it's going to be swung by
seems
men.
To be,
that's right.
But anything that comes across as all ages that would go into a comic book shop seems to be that it's not viable for the market.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Hey.
Gonna make that bird dance.
Holocron Records.
Finally. Pilkey is not Captain Underpants. Is not Pilkey.
No.
Are you sure? I thought it was.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's the one with the
I'm
dog,
not even
right?
sure. I'm
he?
not even sure if Pilkey's doing 100% of the work on his material anymore because there's so much of it being kicked out at
Maybe.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
he's
I
a
don't know. Maybe he
bird.
is. I didn't know.
He might just
I
he
don't-
might just be a front name like they used to do with the old popes. For all we know. I'm trying to. There it goes.
It might be. Yeah, I don't know. Is Captain Underpants Pilkey's?
I'm pretty
I
sure
know
he's
the cat
he's
one
credited
is
with
and the dog one is. Maybe it is.
the Cool Cats Comic Club and Dogman are both comics. They're on a
Okay, so it
3-tier,
is Pilkey?
6-panel system. Yeah, Underpants is Pilkey. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
but Underpants is a combination of prose and you get an occasional comic word balloon in there with a illustrated novel. It's what is more what it is. Where'd we leave off?
Right here.
There was never any guarantee. Scroll up. There was never any guarantee how many of those readers would carry over, but after this long, it seems increasingly clear that the number is not that much greater than the number of kids who develop into lifelong DM customers through any other on-ramp. Well, see, and again, if I may interject here, this is because Marvel and DC does not care about growing the direct market at all. If you care about growing the direct market, you can talk to me. You can pour a little bit of money into Arrow Comics. I'll let you. We'll make a direct market line of kids books or young adult books, let's say proper young adult books for that market and be that bridge. But nowadays, what are they going to jump over to? The next Marvel and DC gay book?
Yeah. Okay, but that's the thing. Like,
the next
what is he trying to say?
piece of trash? What
Yeah,
you know?
What is he trying to say? Like, he's trying to blame Pilkey for kids not transitioning to more adult books, and
That's
it's not
exactly what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, like, what is there waiting for kids when they drop Captain Underpants and all those books? Shitty books.
Manga.
No one
Manga's
wants to
there.
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They go to manga because what America's producing is crap.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Collecting story arcs as trade books used to represent a reasonable way for publishers and creators to recoup the costs of ongoing and limited series that went into a sales decay after the first issue. The predictability of these moves may have hurt in the medium term by inculcating whatever, a wait for the trade mentality among readers. But in the long run, having these stories in print and widely available was a selling point. Not when the quality's not there, you idiot. Anyway. To the extent that remains part of the game plan, it appears to be so DM centric as to make current or recent trades practically invisible outside of comic shops. Again, no attention to quality here. No mention of quality. Nearly all the sales are dominated by the perennial backlist bestsellers from decades past like Watchmen, Dark Knight, and Sandman. Marvel, as Hibb notes, is a complete no-show. That's because they're a shit show. Outdone by its licensing partners. Not many 8-year-olds read that the intersectional X-Men, says Headless Bourgeois. Bourgeoisie. DC and Marvel you see what he just pointed out is that the classics are still selling because of the quality in those classics.
Right, yeah.
The unfortunate thing here is Marvel and DC has got so much stuff in their catalog that they should have in print at all times and readily available to these bookstores that they just won't do it. Black Orchid. They finally got the entire Sandman run out there because of the Netflix series. But Watchmen and V should have always stayed in print. And V, you can't find a copy of that at any of the bookstores right now.
Right.
That I'm aware of. V for Vendetta. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, all the America's best comics are quality material. They don't print or reprint those out there.
Dr. Ben.
Is Dav Pilkey involved in any of the comics communities? Does he promote other people at all? No, he's not. He's busy working.
But is that his job?
It's
not his job.
Here's what I need. We really have to break this mentality, guys.
Yeah.
We really have to stop. I really want to help us understand that this is not a community. This is an industry. It's a business. The community is the fandom, okay?
Push that enough.
There's a comics fandom. When people are getting paid to do this, it is not their responsibility to help someone else make it along in the business. It is not your job. It is not your responsibility at your job, unless you're a manager and paid to do so, to make sure that your coworkers show up to work on time. It is not your job to make sure they understand how to do all the tasks at hand. It is not your job to make sure they're doing their job with integrity. It's not your responsibility to do that. And what we do is we call this a community, and we act like it's everyone's responsibility to give a hand to the person beside them, whether they know them or not, to try to progress in this business. And it is no one's responsibility to help me build an audience and to help me make my books. No one's responsibility to do that. If they do that, I'm grateful. But
comics community is the equivalent to a comics HOA. It's that simple. And people need to understand and deal with that. You've got your little Gladys Kravitz out there, your little private group, your little people that want to pinpoint at other people and talk about the size of their hedges or what they've done or not supposed to do, or overblow and take out of context things that they have done, especially in the past when that context was acceptable. And blow it all out of proportion. And now they've shown that gets people killed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm glad that Dav is not involved in a comics quote-unquote community, because the problem with that is when you start getting wrapped up in this stuff that goes along with all of comics, you either want to quit, you either have to become part of the mob, or you wind up killing yourself, because at the end of the day, it's not a friendly place.
And you have to really take a step back and take a look and see where the true haters are. Because if you've got a publisher out there telling you that there's a list on a website of people that you should not be associating with, that's really a hate group, folks.
It is.
It really is. They want you to hate. They want you to go out there and shun these people and do everything you can to hurt these people instead of help the community. Think
Katie,
about it.
I'm with you. So Katie says, for what it's worth, as a consumer, not a creator, I don't want to hear the disagreements, finger pointing, and bickering. I don't want to buy them.
Yeah.
I'm no longer interested. You know what? And as a creator, I'm not interested in it either.
Same.
And if I work with someone that you don't like, then just let it go. If you have a problem or a beef with someone, don't make it my problem too. It's
that's why this community think needs to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just shut up and get your work done. Yeah. For me, it's like shut up and get your work done.
There should be a direct line from fandom that wants to be entertained to industry, of the people who want to entertain fandom.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it anyway. So, Holocron Records guy here, right? This is the writer of this book I'm working on. I think we're starting it this week, is what I believe we're starting. Pawn. You've heard me talk about Pawn. And I'm excited to work on this one. Because it's fun. I mean, it's just fun. This guy found me. He didn't know anything about my personal beliefs or any of that. Didn't really care. Saw my art, liked it. Didn't know anything about his personal beliefs or anything like that. Didn't care. Saw the script, and I said, "Ooh, how gory can I go?" And he said, "Sky's the limit." And I said, "I'm in." Pretty much is what it was, because they're like, "Well, that's fun." I mean, who doesn't want to draw eyeballs and teeth flying across the panel, right? I mean, that's as a comic artist, you want to push the boundaries of what you're typically doing. Sometimes that means reining in what you draw to do something more
domestic,
something more like Terminal Kill, more domestic, or going crazy horror where you're drawing these giant grotesque demons and and things like that. It should be fun. You should wake up in the morning and can't wait to get to what you're doing. And too often, I've talked to too many people right now in comic books that are doing comic books right now that are like, I think I'm going to be done. If my next book doesn't make any money, I'm out. You know, if I don't break even at least, because the fun's gone. You know, and if I'm not having fun and I'm not making money, what's the point in doing it?
That's
and I said,
very true.
That's very true. Very, very true.
But there's room in comics for mangled teeth and flying eyeballs. In some
and that's the thing. Like when you're having fun, but concentrating on your work.
Right.
I mean, there are ways to have fun that are non-productive. But if you're having fun doing what you love, the money's going to come here eventually. I don't know. It's maybe because we're trained. We're trained in this, like waiting for immediacy on everything we do that get people discouraged. But dude, just keep at it. And the things, like everything else is white noise. Like, oh, your book, whatever. Why didn't you help? Whatever. White noise. Because none of us is called.
Why's it got to be white noise, Pedro? You racist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just noise.
Okay, because you need a subwoofer to make it black noise. Okay? That's why I say white noise. White noise is cheaper.
I think you have found the right place, Katie.
Yep.
I think you found the right place. Checkpoint says, this is how social engineering is implemented. Yeah. The question is what their motivation is. Are they paid or merely following the clout wave?
I think most of
the people that give a hard time, it's the clout wave, hoping that they will get paid.
They're all broke.
Shame the people with money into paying them.
It's gotten to the point where at the big corporate comics level, you have zealots and ideologues that are up there solely to push their message, and money to them is secondary. That's why they have GoFundMe for their lunch.
Mm-hmm.
They have GoFundMes in order to cover their rent. It's more important for them to be up there because they see comics as propaganda, and they think they're actually influencing young kids' minds, when actually what they're doing is turning off the fandom to
destroying an industry,
and destroying an industry.
Loyalty.
And some of them are intentionally doing that too. They're out there trying to look how to totally deconstruct toxic masculinity or whatever they want to try to call it. It's a mess. And it needs to be pointed at, laughed at, and then shunned and ignored. Yeah. And there needs to be another industry rise up around them. Yes.
Let's have fun with it.
A more fun and entertaining industry. With all kinds of comics for all kinds of people, saying all sorts of different things. DC and Marvel may have some other things on their minds these days, but it feels like malpractice when the companies manage to do an even worse job than ever coordinating with media events, as when Vertigo's Bodies trade was nowhere to be seen when the series dropped on Netflix in October.
Malpractice?
He's right about that.
Are we dentists now?
Yeah.
What do you mean malpractice?
It's the corporate. It's a corporate thought.
He's right about that. We talked about that last week. Yeah.
That's because they don't care about the direct market. They never have. The direct market was always there as a joke, especially to Marvel, because they can produce a book, sell a book, and not have to worry about returns. So the book can be the lowest. You go back and you look at the first direct market books that Marvel did. They were the lowest quality pieces of crap in the entire line. Moon Knight, Khazar, and Shauna the She-Devil. You go back and take a look at those books and compare it to the other stuff that was coming out in the same month. That was newsstand delivery, night and day. They never cared about the direct market, and they've gone out of their way to hurt and maim and destroy and cripple the direct market every chance they get. But the retailers bend over and take it because Diamond tells them that that's the big books that sell.
You know what made those titles better for the direct market and swung it? Was the fact that there were hungry artists and writers that knew their only way into the industry was to work on those C and D level books.
Well, you see the positive.
That's where McFarlane started. He's like, I never tried to draw the main characters. He goes, I knew I could get my foot in the door by drawing those other ones. And if I did a great job on that and made that a really good book, I could get promoted.
Well, the real positive with the direct market used to be that the folks coming up can learn by doing independent and alternative comics in black and white and make a living doing it.
Yeah.
up until Image started up and the Circle template era began, we got all these boob books, and all the retailers stopped buying the black and white books for the most part, and started Circle template era.
I knew exactly what that.
And started and started investing in long boxes filled with Brigade and the other Image titles that were, lower quality than what Marvel and DC were kicking out back then. Anyway, where'd we leave off? Sorry. To Sabati's mid-October, and books did not do much to support DC's bad movies during the fall. Would it have helped to have those books in bookstores? I guess we'll never know. Will Marvel have a decent trade bookstore program in support of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Hell no.
I'll take the under on that bet.
Yeah, not a chance, buddy.
It's not happening.
How solid is the post-March literary graphic novel market? Hard to believe that it is more than 10 years since the first volume of the March trilogy first appeared. Back in 2013. What's the March trilogy?
I don't know.
I don't know. At the time and in the decade since, having the memoir of one of the most celebrated and consequential figures in recent American history available in comics format did wonders for both the stature of literary graphic novels and for the business. I have no idea what he's talking about here.
Yeah.
No idea.
The sales of each volume of the trilogy were larger than just about any other literary graphic novel before or since, and the series remains a perennial strong seller, even in back catalog. Anybody
March
knows?
trilogy.
I'm looking for that. I have no idea.
It's March.
Huh.
Scroll down just a little.
Perennial sounds like a condition. Yeah.
March benefited from three factors that are hard to repeat. First, it's that John Lewis lent his stature to the project, bringing a combination of historical gravity, charisma, and current-day news-making ability that is hard to match. Second, though the book deals with serious subject matter in a rigorous, historically accurate way, it is also accessible to younger readers, making it a cross-category threat that works in both the adult, teen, and educational markets. And finally, many of the issues of the civil rights era have become newly relevant in American politics, particularly during the Black Lives Matters protests of 2020.
Yeah.
Now you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
They don't reprint Classics Illustrated either, but there's probably a reason for that. A lot of that stuff's problematic anymore. That said, the only book that has come out of this kind enduring 6- and 7-figure sales market popularity is They Called Us Enemy, also from never heard of it, also from Top Shelf Productions, which also benefited from celebrity author, George Takei. I know what he's talking about now. And an all-ages approach. Yep, it's George Takei's memoir of his time in the internment camp here in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without these, which is an important work, very important work. Without these titles, ought to teach kids more about
I didn't realize they led the way in graphic novel sales.
What's scaring, racism, the power of polarization can actually do, the damage it can actually do. I mean, without these titles leading the way, how much of a serious literary graphic novel market is there in North America right now? Notwithstanding the efforts of great publishers like Fantagraphics, Drawn and Quarterly, Abrams, and the like. Is this, barring the occasional breakout hit, always going to be fundamentally a small press play? Meanwhile, the supply of these kinds of books, often in beautifully designed editions, continues to increase along with the storytelling ambitions of next generation creators, some of whom are now pouring forth from graphic novel MFA programs. I know what the MF stands for, but what was the A stand for? Anyway, will 2024 be one for the books? Over the last decade, we've seen the balance of power shift from the direct market to the bookstore, largely on the back of manga, largely Viz Media and Scholastic. But like so much else in the world right now, the rising tide needs to raise at least a few more boats.
Shut up.
The opinions expressed in this column are solely those of the writer and do not necessarily reflect the views of the editorial staff of ICV2.com.
Or the world.
Rob Selkowitz, or the world.
Do
Rob
they normally
Selkowitz,
put that on his articles?
whenever he says something
so.
that they totally disagree with, Rob Selkowitz is the author of Comic Con and the Business of Pop Culture and an Eisner Award nominee.
Not a winner and won't be, because they took away that award.
They did take that award away. That was another column he was bitching about.
He'll never be.
Wow.
Right there, he'll never be a winner.
Sarskowitz. Yeah.
Selkowitz.
Now he knows what it feels like to be me. He'll never be a winner.
Exactly.
Booksellers file to intervene in Amazon suit, arguing damage from Amazon's behavior. The American Booksellers Association has filed a motion to intervene in the case against Amazon filed by the Federal Trade Commission and 17 state attorneys last fall. The goal of the association is to bolster the case filed by the FTC by including the concerns of independent booksellers. The association notes that in '94, when Amazon launched, there were 7,000 independent booksellers in the U.S., a number that has now dropped to 2,500. Amazon has stifled such competition by ABA members by exercising its monopoly power to coerce publishers to accede to its demands for substantial and unjustified price discrimination, enabling Amazon to sell books to retail customers at prices that ABA members cannot match except by foregoing a sustainable margin or incurring a loss. Given the higher wholesale prices concurrently paid by ABA members for the same books, the association argued in its motion. Motions to intervene are filed by parties who have an interest in the outcome of a case and want to make sure their interests are represented. If the motion is denied, the ABA has asked for amicus status in support of the complaint.
So last year we reported on the fact that Amazon's new, they are kind of cornering the market. So they have set price guidelines for the people like us who would write a book and publish a book through Amazon. And they're kind of what their direct thing is, where they print it and ship it. And now they're setting prices to where for some people, if they sell the book through Amazon, their margins are not sustainable. They can't make money off of it. And in worst case scenarios, they are actually losing money on that book. So publishing it costs them money rather than makes them money. And so they have filed lawsuits against their monopoly of this, and then their, and it includes their practices of setting some of these price points. And basically, if you want to sell your book, you got to do what we say, right? Kind of thing. Which in most cases I would be totally fine with. But the fact that there is no other competition that they can go to in order to sell their books, I think that tends to be the problem. That's where the lawsuit stems from.
Yeah.
So this is just a continuation of that battle. Amazon's lawyers are fat and plentiful, and so I have a feeling this is going to go on for some time, and that you're not going to see a resolution before some of these people have dried up and blown away in the wind, to be quite honest with you.
Strong. Oh, thanks, Katie.
Skybound continues.
Where's Teddy
it's
Roosevelt
executive
when you
hiring
need him?
binge. Where's Teddy?
I have nightmares about projects like this. Takai is my nemesis.
Whoa, okay.
Oh my.
Skybound Entertainment has continued its executive hiring binge with the addition of 2 more senior executives to help with mergers and acquisitions and a new royalty program the company announced.
Let's see if any
Greg
of these came out of
Sulak,
IDW.
most recently FCO of Wondery,
Wondery.
Chief Financial Officer of Wondery, has
Name one product
joined
they
the
did.
company. I don't know anything that they've ever done.
Yeah, exactly.
Has joined the company as Chief Financial Officer, where he will be responsible for the finance and accounting activities of the company. Here's what's funny. That seems like a lateral move.
Yep.
Sulak has been a financial executive at 2 companies through acquisitions, at Podcast Studios Wondery, before and after its acquisition by Amazon, and at digital content company Machinima, before and after its acquisition by Warner Brothers. He also spent time at Yahoo and PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Well, there you go. Yahoo. That tells you all you need to know.
There's no spaces in that other one.
Nope.
Will Cassoy, who spent time as a consultant as president of charity fundraising platform Omaze and as CEO of mobile video advertising platform Ad Colony, has joined Skybound as head of consumer strategy. In that role, Cassoy will develop Skybound's Tier Style Insider loyalty program and oversee the company's website and online stores. Greg's expertise is pivotal as we actively increase M&A and IP development, while Will's background in cultivating long-term fan loyalty lies at the core of Skybound's DNA, CEO David Alpert said of the hires. Skybound announced 5 new hires in April, including a top comic editor and 2 senior video game executives. I don't know, man, they must have some kind of bankroll. They must have some kind of bankroll over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or a sponsor named Ramon. Tuco. Yeah.
Gus Fring.
Mm-hmm.
Grey Wolf says, I have 3 books on Amazon, which I promote a lot, but I'm not making much. I suspect maybe Amazon has them shadow banned in some fashion. I don't know if it's shadow banned or there's just so much stuff there that you get lost in the mix, which is kind of my problem.
Lost in the
with
flood.
the pink and green site. Everyone talks about how much traffic they have, but I mean, how much people are actually getting there? Yeah, it's a Salamanca. Somebody named Salamanca.
Salamanca.
Headless Bourgeoisie says, Amazon was pressured by the major book publishers to suppress self-published work.
Yep.
Years ago. Yes, they do. Yep. They do. I don't know that they ban it, but they certainly do not promote it. They just let it sit there. You're basically just paying for their service without any promotion.
You see, this happens with a lot of the social or with a lot of the corporate platforms online. When they come up with a way of people to make money, people jump in, especially the independent creators, and they go through the system and they figure out how to make it generate lots of money.
Yeah.
And then it generates lots of money for a very short period of time. So the larger corporations come in and go, hey, those little guys are generating a lot of money. You need to change your rules. And they go through and they change the rules. And you've seen it over and over again. Amazon, YouTube, Patreon, all of these companies all do the same thing. Once the little guy gets in there, the independent spirit, the creative end of this, just like independent comics, gets in there and figures out how to make a living off of this stuff, they'll slam them. The corporate will go through and make them change their rules.
It's not guys
and
like
then
Grey
nobody
Wolf.
wins. Yeah.
It's not guys like Grey Wolf. It's these guys that use AI to make coloring books.
Well, that too, yeah.
Right? And they're selling the coloring books. Or it's the guys that make AI to make, whatever.
Watched a video a few months ago how you can make an entire graphic novel in a day.
Yeah, they put no effort into it. They put it on
Using
Amazon.
all AI
they're making
programming.
a ton of money.
Yep.
And so they're trying to nerf them, but what happens is they do more than nerf them. They hurt
everybody.
The legit ones,
Everybody.
the legit people. Yeah.
They hurt everybody.
Yep. They hurt the industry.
I don't like them.
We're not supposed to like them, though.
Doc, you've been doing this comic book thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this idea of calling it a community versus a industry?
I totally agree with what Randy said. This is an industry. However, I'm from a time where we were a little more genteel in our practices, not quite so cutthroat, demeaning, whatever. So if I had a publishing house or an imprint, I'm friendly with the others. I'm cordial. I'm not out there trying to dig up something from their past and cancel them so I can get ahead. So I don't call it a community. It is an industry, but within that industry, the term I use is there is a neighborhood. There's a neighborhood. Luke
Again,
is in the same.
it's another word for community.
Well, no, we're closer than that. Those of us that know one another here in the Indies, and we lift each other up. There's no obligation to do that. We just do it because we know one another and we're friendly. So that's a little more cohesive than this overarching community of any. Listen, there's no community of independent creators. There are people creating books that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And creators I would not trust to come inside my house. But in the neighborhood I roll in, I like all these guys. I'd invite them over for a barbecue.
Nice.
Right. And I would take you up on that offer because I love a barbecue.
Well, in my opinion,
are from the South.
A lot of these people out there that are trying to tear the industry down and warp the industry or get their political views across or whatever. Right. You take a good look at those people; those aren't people that you want to associate with anyway.
Right, right.
I mean, in real life, they have to be some pretty terrible people.
Yeah, I'm not inviting them to my barbecue, but more telling is that if I was a homeless guy on the street and one of them tried to feed me their barbecue, I'd be like, no, I'll pass, thank you. I don't know what's in that shit.
Laced with something.
Yeah.
PCP, more than likely.
I don't want your poison, is what I'm saying. I'm a free-thinking, conservative human being.
Yeah.
I don't need your message. I don't need your blood sports. I don't need your cancel culture. No, thank you. I don't need any of that.
Yeah. All right. So, what year did you get yourself into these independent comics?
Current version.
Me?
Yeah, Doc.
I did my first indie comic work back in the 90s. I want to say 93, 94, somewhere around there. Working for itty bitty little imprints. So I guess I've always been an indie, but it was work for hire. It was never my stuff. It was just, there was a strange network that existed before. I, to this day, can't tell you how we all found each other, but we did. And so these little publishers would say, hey, I'm looking for a penciler. And back then you submitted an ash can. Okay, I'll take your character. I'll do a little, here's my interpretation of a little short story. I'll mail it to you. If they like it, they hire you. So I was doing that for like Pocket Change Comics, Fusion Press. I forget there was two others. But then, I got out of it. It wasn't lucrative. You're not making any money. It was stressful, but it was a good internship. It was a good way to learn the process, what goes into making books. And I just kind of let it go. I was a counselor and my practice was getting busier and busier. I had my fine art that I was doing, and that made me a lot of money, compared to comics.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So, fine arts. Kind of talk about your journey into that, and obviously you said you were making money.
Yes.
How did you make money doing that?
I got lucky. You got to be good in the first place, but there's lots of good artists. Okay. But the luck part is a right collector finds you, likes your work, and those high-end collectors know each other. They network.
So what kind of fine arts did you do? I mean, and there's various styles. There's landscapes. Yeah. There's,
I was a plein air impressionist. Okay. That means I go out and I post up somewhere and I paint what I see. And I do it in the style called Impressionism, developed by Claude Monet, Renoir, Cezanne, Sisley. Yeah. I like Cezanne, but he wasn't really an impressionist. He was a post-impressionist. Yeah.
I need to make some tea now. Wow.
Yeah.
I like Monet. I like Monet.
Can I share screen with you?
Yeah. And I like Francis Bacon.
I was a huge fan of the Impressionists, and if it tells you anything about me, comic books, and fine art, the first two artists that made an impression on me were George Perez and Claude Monet.
Oh, okay.
Both of them at the same time. So let me share screen here, and I've done well over 1,000 paintings. I'm not even sure how many. So you'll have to tell me when you're sharing. I can't see anything once I share.
Yeah, it's up there.
All right. So the first thing I did was just like young comic book artists. I started copying. So I wanted to study Monet. This was the first Monet study I did to figure out how his brush work and his color handling. I literally copied 100 Monets before I allowed myself to start doing original work. And then I just took off from there. So these are all local scenes. This is my current favorite, I think. This was painted. There's a lake here with a little fishing spot that just everyone goes to. As a matter of fact, there were guys fishing there when I went and painted this one. But the idea with Impressionism, for those that might not know, is you're capturing the light and the atmosphere, and you've got a very short period of time to do that. The rule of thumb was that Monet said is you pick a leaf on a tree, and when the light on that leaf changes, you're done.
Yep.
So this
Which
was
is they painted very fast.
Very fast.
So the brush strokes, types of brushes they used was all about quick. It was about getting it done fast.
Dabs.
Yeah. And
you're not blending. You don't blend.
Yeah, you're using paint and
technique
to make the get what you see now.
The impression of
it's not
what
about
you
the
see.
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the detail. It's the impression of what is. I'm a big fan of the Impressionist. Oh, I love winter scenes, snow. Just how the shadows break out into purples and reds and and blues. It's just beautiful.
This one is
I love this one.
The corniest name of any painting I've ever done, but I couldn't help myself. This one is Oak on the Water. Oak on the water.
I gotta see that now.
This was painted on Bay Street down in Beaufort, South Carolina, looking over.
Oh my God!
Over the bay. It's incredibly bright but hazy morning,
man.
And I had to. I pulled over, and I got permission because on Bay Street down there it's kind of ritzy. I got permission from the homeowner to park in his driveway because it's a narrow street and paint.
Hey, Doc, there's this Disney director, George Scribner. He's doing this now. Like he's doing Impressionism. Like you might enjoy his work. He comes from an animation background, so his figures are like they feel like moving, but they're done with like dabs and impression. Dude, it's freaking amazing.
Yeah,
please check him out, George Scribner.
So I know a lot of Impressionists use acrylic and not oil paints because oil paints take too long to dry.
Right.
So they use acrylics that will dry much quicker.
As you say that, I went from oil to acrylic back in the 90s and never looked back for that reason. There is a great oil painter. He is a tonalist named Stuart Davis here on YouTube. And Stuart and I have talked quite a bit. He frequently gets asked when he does these soaring skyscapes and these big vistas, can you do that with acrylic? And he said, no, you cannot. I said, the hell you say. So I did one in his style, and I sent this to him, and he said, he showed it on his show. He said, I stand corrected. You can do it with acrylic. I can't do it with acrylic.
That's, it's like
one
you're just
word.
not trying hard enough.
One word.
You can, I can't, yeah.
Oh,
and that really
nice.
that goes down to the medium,
I like that.
the tools. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a scene from the canals over in the UK. Before COVID hit, I was planning on selling the house, buying a narrowboat, and living on the canals. But it didn't work out that way. But God, one of my friends over in the UK sent me this photo from the bow of their boat and said, can you paint it? I was like, absolutely. And then they ghosted me. I never saw them again. So they didn't buy it, so I kept it.
Are you still working in fine arts? Are you still?
No. There's for two reasons. One, there's not enough time in the day. I occasionally paint with some friends just for the hell of it, for the fun of it. But that world is just as strange and bizarre as our own comic book world is. But
So
the other,
tell me, okay, go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say the other reason is that for whatever reason, I can't focus on more than one discipline because the mindset is different, and it takes too long to shift in between.
One weird world at a time. Yeah.
Yes, only one weird.
Tell me about that. Tell me about this transition. So you say it's kind of weird and unusual there.
Well, I first transitioned when I noticed I needed a cup.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much a transition. I've been doing both all my life. Like I said, my first two influences were George Perez on one hand and Claude Monet on the other. And so I had always done comic book stuff on my own. Every kid does. You're drawing on notebook paper, drawing your superheroes. And then I would go to art class and I would paint. So it just never occurred to me that they were mutually exclusive. But here's the wonderful thing. Comic book artists tend to shun fine artists, and fine artists will laugh at a comic book artist. And it just is what it is. Having said that, I haven't been canceled from comics yet, but I damn sure got canceled from the fine art community. I was serving as the curator of an upscale gallery, and this artist that literally vomited on canvases, smeared it around, and then would varnish it, wanted to hang in the gallery. And I told him, you can pick one and suck it, buddy. That's not art. Sorry. Yeah. And he went to his little clique of friends. He's gatekeeping. He's one of those. He's a gate. I'm a curator. My job is to say no. That's the whole job of a curator. And so I got canceled from that community, those bastards. And I laughed because that gallery went out of business 6 months after I left. They couldn't keep it.
Well, probably because they were putting vomit on the wall.
Yeah, they just they were unable to maintain the line of what upscale fine art is, and they wanted to sell craft trinkets like, oh look, I made this earring, and I'll sell these. And when you do that, you become just another you turn it into another mom and pop storefront flea market. It's no longer upscale fine art.
Gallery.
Now, and that's not to be confused with that upper end fine art that is just pure bullshit. The modern art garbage.
Yeah, that's 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 the heart of the Impressionist after all, wasn't it? It was because they were you
bucking
could only
on that.
get in the galleries.
Yeah,
they bucked it. They were the true independent spirit. They painted what they wanted in a different style. They had fun. They were like rock stars.
Yeah.
They opened up their own gallery to sell and show their stuff.
Yeah.
Just instead of
They
going
were
through
rebels.
the normal checks and balances, they were rebels.
And I point out too, historically, it is very funny. History repeats itself. Within their community of the Impressionist painters, a turf war broke out. Huge fight between Monet and Degas. Degas went so far as to print Monet's obituary while he was still living. And he hijacked the movement, but Monet by that time was so rich and so successful that he just laughed about it, and they all came back to him anyway. Degas kind of died a lonely old man and bitter and whatever. That's not a reflection on his work. His work is genius, but Degas was an asshole.
Well, I mean, isn't that the truth of most artists? I mean, there's such a diverse group, and I mean, they're all, not all of us are stable that do art.
Yeah.
In fact, I think when you're a creative person, a different part of your brain works, and you become more.
Yeah, that right brain takes over.
Yeah, you become more emotionally responsive. To things than practically responsive. I think. It causes some drama.
But one of the main reasons I did indies back in the 90s, honestly, was I had just gotten married to a slut, and there was no room in our new house for a studio, but there was room to sit with a drawing board and draw comic books, on the sofa. So that's basically why I did it. I wanted to keep doing art. Well, actually, the truest part of that story is I had gotten injured and I was flat on my back for several weeks. And I'm like, I got to earn money. I got to do something. And my brain went, you can do art, dummy, do art. So I started applying to all these little studios, and I thought, oh, that way lieth the path to fame and fortune. Boy, was I wrong.
Right. Great quote, Bunny. Nothing so became him in life as his leaving of it.
Yes, yes.
It suited him. It suited him well. Yeah. I'll tell you, that's what I love about poetry, writing. You know, I'm a Walt Whitman fan. His reflections. I mean, just ways of expressing yourself. I think my favorite part about writing is the flowery way you can insult someone.
Yes, yes.
I think that's the best part. You know, it's when I think about Geoffrey Chaucer, you know, immortalizing his enemies in fiction.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, forever being there.
And who hasn't? You know, it was a common trope back in the Middle Ages. Don't fuck with the bards, because they'll go from town to town singing about what a prick you are, and you ain't doing business nowhere. The original cancel culture.
The original cancel culture came from the bards. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you get. So this transition. So you're laying flat on your back, and then you can't have the painting studio, so you start drawing comic book stuff. Learning sequential art. Now, sequential art in painting a landscape couldn't be any more different from riding a unicycle to driving a car.
Right. Absolutely.
Luke, I have to apologize to you, Luke, because you say Walt Whitman, and I thought you were talking about Charles Whitman. There's two different people. Sorry. Just to say, it happened in my mind.
They're not the same people.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, Doc.
Different.
Continue.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
But you know what that means?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
It means you're a catcher, not a pitcher.
One of the Whitmans is. I don't know who.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe Chaucer. That was definitely from the movie A Knight's Tale, where Chaucer was in there. I was naked, but for a moment. You shall be naked for eternity.
For eternity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Another great movie. I love storytelling is great. So, and I think the key for storytelling in comics is the sequential storytelling. So how did you transition from I'm going to paint what I see out here to now I'm going to draw a story from my head or from someone else's head, but doing it in a way to where strictly visually it tracks on the page?
For me, it was before I was a comic book artist or a fine art painter. I was a writer. I was a storyteller. And I don't think of comic books as art. I think of them as storytelling. And I don't mean that they're not art. I mean, I don't approach them as this is just a visual thing. It's all about the story. And so I'd always been a fan of the old movies that didn't have CGI. They didn't have effects. The editing wasn't always where it should be. They had to be able to tell stories effectively. And so I could see those images in my brain, like, I guess, storyboards. And that's how I approached sequential art. And keeping in mind that my influences were John Byrne, George Perez, Romita Sr., all those guys. And so I had a hell of a lot of inspiration from them.
Okay.
I particularly remember, by the way, in the Korvac saga, there was a panel that Perez had done, just one little panel. And it's Iron Man. He's kneeling down, and his arc reactor in his chest is alight, and it's shining on tire tracks on the road, and all the Avengers are standing around him. And it's this tiny little panel. I'm like, how in the hell does he do this? How do you get 20 people in a panel the size of a poker card? And I drew that panel over and over and over again and never got it right. But it was the experience of doing it, you know?
Yeah. So, describe the quirkiness in character between fine art community and comics. Let's talk about some of the similarities. The weirdos.
Yeah, there's
Let's compare weirdos. Yeah,
there's blue-haired SJWs in both fields, and they all behave exactly the same way. They want to co-op, take over, and cancel, and then they have no idea what to do with it once they have it.
You see, yeah, that's I don't understand that mentality. I don't get where that comes from. Where they want. I just don't understand it. I don't want to understand. I think if I understood it,
yeah,
maybe it would make me even more cynical than what I've grown to become. And I prefer to stay somewhat ignorant and blissful, because there is definitely bliss in ignorance. And so as long as I if I'm afraid that if I think like them, I'll become more like them.
Yeah.
Even if I understand them to any degree.
Well,
because it seems inhumane to tear things down and not want to create and build things up. Like how can, I'm trying to understand how you can look at vomit and say that is art, or duct taping a banana to a wall is art. Yeah. That's minimal effort. There's this gallery where this guy's stacking up
buckets.
It's buckets of sand. It's ineptness is what it is, and it falls over, and he just stands back and he puts his arms out, and everyone starts applauding. I'm like, what is wrong with you? This is an old man. I would take him into the doctor and be like, I think he has dementia.
Yeah.
I mean, he stood up in front. He tried to stack up these buckets, and they fell over. And I mean, come on. I mean, this is not.
Yeah, you can find these on YouTube, but there was a show. It was a network show. I think it was on the Learning Channel or whatever, where the Museum of Modern Art was holding a competition for this big scholarship, blah, 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 blah. And one of the finalists was literally this little Korean fufu kid who hung his dead father's shirts on hangers on a clothesline and called it art. And the guy comes in, the host, he goes, "This is so profound. It's fucking laundry. Come on over to the house. I got some hanging in the backyard right now. Give me the $50,000. What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yep.
I have an explanation for that kind of behavior, but this channel's already struck. Yeah.
I got guns and bullets, Glenn. Stay off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Yeah, Clint Eastwood, man.
Yeah,
Profit over time.
Look. At some point, you do have to look at things and be like,
nah.
It's illogical. There's no way I can understand it. It's illogical to take just to want to tear things down.
Yeah.
And have no vision of what it should become.
Yeah.
I get it.
I was a counselor professionally for most of my working life, and I do understand it. As in, I comprehend it. I do not condone it. But these are desperately empty people seeking some sort of power and fulfillment in something that they conceive of as just in that moment.
Well, maybe
doesn't matter how transitory it is. Doesn't matter how transitory it is. Doesn't matter how stupid it is. It's, I am the just crusader on the side of righteousness, and therefore I will slay this evil gatekeeping.
So you're
curator.
saying they're just really bad. So they're just really bad at being sociopathic.
They're really bad at comprehending reality.
I just thought you were describing every comics so-called professional over on Blue Sky.
Yeah, I mean, there's this element of being wronged. Like I have to make something right, but they don't really have a plan.
So did you?
And they can't identify what is wrong or why it's wrong. They just conceive of it as wrong. I'm sorry.
So were you doing the comics before or after your cancellation in fine arts?
Before and after. Okay. So what happened was, the reason I came back to comics, I had already accidentally found Ethan's channel, right? And I'm like, I remember that kid. He was starting out with that little frog back when I was doing comics.
Yeah, there you go.
And
went behind the ears.
Yeah. So I was watching
Just
this
like
show.
that Kirkman kid selling the Battle Pope comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He got so much better at drawing that.
so I super chatted him, and I said, I wish there was something like Comicsgate for fine artists because I've been canceled too. And I dropped the link to my art website at that time. And I'll never forget, it was Ethan, Artie Bear, and Billy Tucci they were on. And they were kind of, whatever, fine art. And they clicked on the link and they oohed and awed over the art. They're like, damn, man, you're good.
It's quite good, yeah.
And then Ethan just said, I don't know what to tell you, man. He said, come do comics with us. And I went, I know how to do comics. And I was back.
There you go.
Back in comics. Boy, things have changed a lot since then, especially, things have changed a lot.
Yes.
Over the many years here.
Yep.
Doing comics and things.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, by the way.
Still evolving.
Feels like a
It's
decade.
changed a lot in 2 years. That feels
Yeah.
like
Yes.
a lot longer than that.
Yes.
So your first book back. Tell me about your first book back. Like, what was the spark? What was the thing? Like, this is what I need to make. This is my.
I knew I didn't want to do capes and tights, not because I don't like them, but because it's out there. It's been done to death. I wanted to do something different. I had just finished reading the book Without Remorse by Tom Clancy.
Okay.
If you've never read that book, it is probably Clancy's best work, period, by a far stretch. And that's saying something because the guy was good.
That's the story of Clark, right? Just
Yes.
to be precise.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a great book.
Yeah. So basically, the story was that this Navy SEAL who had lost his wife. This is set back in the end of the '60s, early '70s. He falls in love with a girl that he picked up as a hitchhiker. Turns out she had been a mule and a prostitute for a drug ring, but she had escaped and she wanted to get clean. So he helped her get clean and sober. They fell in love. Blah 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 blah. Well, the mob, the drug mob, found them. They shot him. And they kidnapped her, and basically they R-worded her to death. And
yeah, it's a heavy book.
Yeah. So in his hospital bed, as he's recovering, they've shown him the pictures of the body. Can you confirm this is her? And he just goes deathly pale, and his internal monologue says, "Not in their worst nightmares have they even imagined somebody like me." And I was like, "Oh!" So then, if you imagine how a Navy SEAL might go about killing drug thugs, very creative. So my brain started wondering, I wonder what would happen if they did that to a witch. What would her revenge look like? And that was the impetus for Pariah, Blood and Mud. And when I write my stories, it almost always starts with either dialogue or a scene description that pops into my head, and I start asking questions. Who said that? Who are they saying it to? What scene is that taking place in? And I start building outward from there. And the name Elizabeth Payne just popped in my head, and I went with it. And I just and I heard the first line, "My name is Elizabeth Payne," or at least it used to be. And I was like, "Oh, there it is." So the story was born there. So I wanted it's a revenge story. It's a supernatural revenge story. We've got the first episode out now, Pariah, Blood and Mud. The next one is Pariah, Sanctum of Hate. But in the meantime, there's a character that features prominently in the next two Pariah books, Jake Bishop. And I wanted him to have a little story of his own. And so that's why I did A Damn Dirty Thing.
Okay. So that was what year did that one come out?
Last year.
The first one. Came out last year.
Yes, Luke Stone did a cover for me, cover C of the campaign, and it sold very well. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's one of my favorite images that I've drawn.
It's really good.
Turned out to be one of my favorites I've done so far. So 2 years ago, come draw comics with us. A year ago, drawing comics with us.
Yep.
And now, this book here. Let's go ahead and add this in here, and we're going to talk about this for just a little bit.
Ooh.
Let's go ahead and show off this this trailer.
All right.
Okay.
There you are. That's great.
Love it. Love what you did with that circle.
Bravo.
Great trailer.
There you go.
Well, it doesn't like this trailer apparently.
Are this planned? This.
Let me see if I think I have that trailer on my YouTube. I do. Let me just send you the direct link. It's not you. It's the FMC. FMC doesn't like playing the trailers.
Well, I don't normally have trouble with it. I think it's the browser.
Maybe so.
I never have problems with Safari, but I'm using what's this thing called?
Brave.
I don't know what it's called.
Do you want me to jump it through? I've got Chrome.
Yeah,
it's in the private chat over there too. If you want to pull it up that way,
I'll pull it up right now.
Pull it out.
Pull it up.
Sometimes I just download.
We had this issue on 2 other shows, and one was using Chrome and the other was using Firefox. So I don't know what's going on. It may be the coding on my video somehow is being a bitch. Who knows? It's technology. Technology hates me, Luke.
Pariah Sanctum of Hate. Teaser?
No, that's the teaser for the next book.
All right.
The private chat. The second link I shared is this trailer.
Yeah, I got it.
Pull it up. That's what she said.
I'm downloading it. Video file. Downloads. My other downloads.
I got it.
Oh no, I've got the actual video.
Who got it harder?
All right.
Well, I have the video. What's going on?
Strange things were happening all around us.
Yeah, I believe you.
10 nerd points for whoever
not
can
playing
tell
at all, man.
what that line
Come
is
on.
from.
I downloaded your video and it's not playing. I feel like the universe doesn't want us to play your video.
You know,
Hang on just a second here.
Randy's all over it.
I am.
With the cheap suit.
The meters are going.
I'm being canceled again. Glenn Fleming says.
Yeah, is that fine art community?
They heard me. They heard me talking about them.
Yeah.
I'm driving, Randy. There we go.
All right.
Okay. Promise.
There you be.
There. I feel so accomplished now.
There you go.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
So far you've got 35 backers on this, $1,173.50. Let's dig into this story just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So you told us a little bit about the about Pariah, about this other person, right?
Right.
So really, what is the world of A Damn Dirty Thing?
Great question. So this all takes place in the Rampart universe, which is a world that is 2024, but the aesthetics of the 1940s never went away because it was already perfect. It didn't need changing. So they have all of our technology, but everything looks like the 40s. So instead of computers, they have data types. Instead of the internet, they have the data sphere. They don't call their phones cellular phones. They just call them phones. But they have all the technology. That's the world. And this takes place primarily in a fictitious city called Solomon City. And Yeah, so this is where Jake Bishop is operating, is the same town where the bad things befall Elizabeth Payne. Jake Bishop is a private investigator. He gets a little too close without realizing it. He's doing a skip trace on a bail jumper, who it turns out was a nephew of a big mob boss. And the mob boss blows up his office. And unfortunately, it didn't manage to kill Jake Bishop. And Jake is both a detective and a ditch wizard. He is he has magical abilities. And so now he's out there on the trail of Vito Morelli, aided by the mysterious Portia Vance.
And tell me about Portia Vance.
Portia answers the ad for a secretary wanted for his private investigation agency. She shows up, he interviews her, it goes really well. But she is stunning. She is intelligent. She's movie star graceful, you know. And she seems as hell-bent to find Morelli as Jake does. And he has no idea why. So that's a little bit of an enigma for him. But she aids him as a trusty sidekick on tracking down the mob boss. We do find out her story, but that's a spoiler that we won't reveal.
Okay. So I see here that you have a novella with this as well.
Yes, indeedy.
All right, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I wanted to really flesh out this world. So A Damn Dirty Thing, of course, is a much thicker story than what I could do in a 20-page floppy. So I wrote a novella. I say wrote, I've got to finish it. I've got like one scene left to go at this point. And I just really wanted to try my hand at one of those old dime store pulp novels from way back in the day. Now, a lot of people viewing right now aren't old enough to remember those. I are old enough. And I love, you went in and you got a copy of Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs or John Carter, Warlord of Mars. What great reads they were on a rainy weekend. They weren't terribly long, but they were great. And then I would go back to the dollar stores back. Actually, it was called the 5 and Dime stores, nickel and a dime. And I'd go in and get these little pulp novels and read them. And I wanted to write one, so I did.
Good job, man. I've always thought about writing a novel, and then I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And here is some Pariah stuff.
Yeah. You can.
There's mud.
Yeah, you can catch up. There's a catch-up tier here. So the very first one is Damned If You Do. The next one is Damned If You Don't. The Damned If You Do is everything that we've done with Anthony Romano at Dark Gift Comics.
Nice.
That includes the Damn Dirty Thing comic book, the Damn Dirty Thing novella, the graphic novel Pariah Blood and Mud. That's a 48-page book. You get the Damn Dirty Thing coffee mug, the Gollum tapestry, the Portia print, 2 sketch cards, and then all the digital stuff. And then there's Damned If You Don't. It's the same thing, but minus the Pariah stuff. It's just the Jake Bishop stuff.
So just Jake, and then just the comic, just the novella.
Yeah, and we worked really hard to finagle the price points as low as we could go without going into debt.
Yeah.
So, I'm aware of the economy, okay? My ramen noodle index, ramen noodles inflation is 200% right now.
Yep.
You can't fool poor people.
Nope.
No, you cannot. I really like these pages, or this page here, whatever's going on here.
That's just a collage Anthony threw together. Interesting, if you scroll down a little bit, where the pages are. Well, first, let me talk about the cover. The cover is a movie poster. That's the way I wanted it to look, like it was a movie poster from the 1940s. And I found a layout. This is not a copy of it, but it's an homage to Born to Kill, a really terrible noir movie from back in the day. Excuse me. But I love the layout with the title, where it's at, and the little blurb in the upper left and the movie credits at the bottom, and just the composition. So I drew each of the elements on the page as separate elements and composited them together to make a movie poster, and may end up doing a tapestry of that. It won't be blacklight, obviously, because it's a black and white basic cover. But below that is some of the page samples. The top left page is traditional. The top right page is my first digital page. So okay. I started doing digital work 2/3 of the way. No, not 2/3. I would say closer to whatever the next number is up from 2/3. At that point, I went over and started doing digital, and there's a learning curve there. But
there certainly is a learning curve to do digital. So, what are your thoughts on the two? Since you did the first part of the book traditional, and
I love the digital. I love that. Anyone that's ever worked traditional drawing knows the panel 6 curse. You've got a great page going, you get to panel 6 and you totally booger it up. It's like, son of a bitch. Now you got to either redraw that panel, or if you really screwed up, you got to redraw the whole page. The beauty of digital is Control Z. You can edit as you go.
Yes. I do like that. That saved me a lot of redraws and a lot of stress.
Yeah.
If I would be working on a very problematic page that I knew was going to be tough.
Right.
And I would, I would have anxiety, couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And with my coffee addiction.
Oh man, please.
It only made things worse.
Yeah.
It made things worse, yeah. Now, let's talk about the neighborhood. You mentioned neighborhood of people.
Hey, Pops.
So you've found kind of a group. I know you hang out with Pops a lot. He
hangs out with me.
All right. Yeah. Okay. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You know.
Yeah.
You're often found in the same neighborhood.
Yes.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Who are some of these other? Talk more about your neighborhood. How you found these people. Some of the people that have kind of impacted your journey into comics.
That's the damnedest thing. If I know, Luke, I don't have a clue how it happened. But I'm friendly with John Dillard and Jim O'Reilly. But it's not like we're taking cross country road trips, Thelma Louise style together. We know one another. We kind of come alongside one another ideologically and artistically. Pops is a friend, but he's the friend I fight with the most. Ask him, he'll tell you. But as long as someone's not being a cancel culture sissy la, I get along with everybody. My personal philosophy is I will always treat people as kindly as they allow me to treat them. And so I'm just cool with everybody.
Yeah. That's better than don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Flipped you the bird.
Flip the Boyd.
The Boyd.
Flipped you the Boyd, Doc. Nice. Flipped the bird.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My goal here, we've got 2 stretch goals. One of them is a Porsche Vance trading card / print. And the other one at $4,000, we're going to do an audio book of the novella. Not the comic book, but a novella.
Are you going to voice one of the characters?
Yes, I'm voicing Jake Bishop. And there's a sample at the bottom, Luke. It's too long to play the whole thing, but if you want to play like 30 seconds of it, down at the very bottom of the campaign. This was just a live read I had done, and Anthony downloaded it, added some music and sound effects, just to give the audience a sample of what the novella sounds like in its writing.
Jazz.
Money. It's always about the money. There was no movement in Morelli's official banking records, but there was absolutely no chance he was living low. Not Morelli. No, wherever he had planted himself, he'd be living in luxury, and that means money. When the mob moved money off the books, they did it through shadow bankers. There was one such individual used by the Italians, the Irish, and the Russians, and God knows who else. Whitey Doyle. If you needed money moved off the books, Doyle was your man. He operated out of a legitimate pawn shop in the business district of Iron Heights. Doyle's was the place to go if you were a whisper away from ruin, where the last shreds of dignity can be pawned for a breath of borrowed time.
Yeah, that's good.
I park around the corner and wait.
I like the music.
Dude, my house smells like cigarettes now, man.
Yeah, baby.
Cigarettes and whiskey.
That's it, baby.
Yeah.
And broken dreams.
And broken dreams. Yeah.
So we've got the voice talent already lined up. I've got Lori Calcaterra coming on board.
Oh, nice.
I've got John Dillard. I've got anyone's ever heard John Dillard? He's got a voice for broadcasting.
Hey,
Gable Pennyshot, Yucky. Yo.
Look, if you need a Tony Montana, I can do it. Okay. Whenever you need a Tony Montana, hey, what do you think? I'm a cockroach? I can do it.
You know what, Pedro? I've got a character named Varga.
There you go.
In the book, I might be hitting you up. I've got a Christian Zaffo. He's got the thickest Brooklyn accent you've ever heard in your life. He'll be doing a voice. All right, so here, this is Jake Bishop's business card, and spoiler alert: everybody's going to get one of these in their product. But that's a working phone number. 410-449-2466. You can call that and leave a message for Jake Bishop. The best message is going to get a freebie. So when you call in, and I encourage you to do so, be creative, come up with whatever you can come up with. We're going to make a montage of the best messages. But the very best one, of course, is going to win something. But leave a way for us to know it's you without doxing yourself. You can just say, hey, this is Pedro. I know who Pedro is. You know, you can say this is Luke Stone. I know who you are. You don't have to give your address, phone number, any of that.
You wouldn't be able to tell just by hearing my voice.
I would know.
And this is unique. Yeah, this is.
I would know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you say you don't know how you met your neighborhood.
Correct.
But I'm going to pry on that.
Okay.
I am.
Do.
Because I think that's one of the more important things is how you find the people that you associate with in comics. So you stumbled on Ethan's channel.
Yes.
You said, come make comic books with us.
Yes.
What was the next thing you did?
On that same show, they were talking. Ethan was answering someone else's question. And he said, get a Twitter, get a YouTube. I already had a YouTube channel for my fine art. So I went and I made one for comic book stuff. That's the Doc Blalock YouTube channel. And you got to have a presence. So I'd never used Twitter before, but like, fuck, that place is a cesspool. But I went and I got a Twitter, and I just started posting some of the images that I was working on, works in progress, and started getting likes and comments and whatever. And that's how I met the first part of the crowd. People like James Hayes, Chuck Reardon, a lot of the guys that are just wonderful chat and fans and backers. Met those guys. At some point, Pops approached me about co-hosting with him on CromCon, because I've done broadcasting before. I'm comfortable in front of a microphone, and so I'm good with that. So I thought, okay,
you've got a face for radio.
I do. I was born this way.
I'm joking. I'm so mean.
Born this way.
No, you do have a great narration voice, though. You do.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll come on. I get to interview all these artists and get to know them and these writers. And that, I think, more than anything, networked me up with most of the people that I know. Oh, thank you, Butcher C.
Pops is like the gateway drug to comic books.
You think?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And he's going to love that, too.
He's going to love that, too.
Pops is a controversial figure. He's a scrapper. He's a fighter. he says what he says, and he means what he says, even if he's wrong. And anytime he argues with me, he's wrong. But here's what I know: he's not anti-Comicsgate, but he's not Comicsgate. He is all indie comics. He loves all of them. He wants to just promote people and see them succeed.
He was Comicsgate for a while, but I don't think he got as warm a welcome as
No, he didn't, and he is somewhat of a controversial figure, and I'm aware of that. But at the same time, if I'm the anti-counterculture guy, then cancel culture guy, then I'm not going to have anybody tell me you shouldn't hang out with Pops. He's bad for your brand. Fuck off. I hang out with whoever the hell I want to. As a matter of fact,
I'm kind of the same way, and I find that people kind of gravitate towards that. And I don't wave a banner for anybody but my circle, right?
Right.
Arrow Comics, you're going to see me promote that a lot. You're going to see me promote my stuff a lot. Anybody that's involved in the kind of those circles, that's where you're going to see me at. Fund My Comic. If you're on Fund My Comic, you get a seat, a front row. You get a prime seat at the table on their base.
Right.
If you're running on Fund My Comic, especially if you're exclusive. Like when you're like, hey, Fund My Comic's my jam, then...
I will never crowdfund anywhere else after my experience.
Yeah. And I feel like I owe people that, like, hey, I'm going to, if I've said this before, if someone comes up to me, hey, I've got this campaign running on Kickstarter. I'd like to come on the show and shill it. I'm like, that's fine. And I tell them, it's like, if somebody comes up with a Fund My Comic that needs on first, then I'm going to
exactly right.
So it's just gonna happen.
When I came in, it wasn't the whole, like Ethan and the Kings were saying, don't go to Kickstarter, go to Indiegogo. It was simpler than that. Right before I was getting ready to launch is when they did their Mike Barron cancel over on Kickstarter. I'm like, fuck those guys, man. Because I know Mike Barron is a hell of a nice guy. He's a gentleman.
He really is.
He's one of the bedrocks of great comics. So immediately I wanted nothing to do with Kickstarter. So I went to Indiegogo. And Indiegogo shadow banned me from sign up to the end, and then had the audacity in the analytics to take credit for 20% of the traffic to the campaign.
Right. Yeah.
And I had an absolute meltdown over that. I'm like, I will never do business with those assholes again, ever. So that ruled out those two. And then praise God, here comes Luke with Fund My Comic. I said, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
And this has become a neighborhood in and of itself, has really. The Fund My Comic thing.
A neighborhood without a Mr. Rogers, I have to say.
No, Mr.
That's your
Rogers.
role, Pedro. That's you, Pedro.
Hopefully without our Gladys Kravitz.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, no Gladys Kravitz allowed. And Luke, I absolutely loved when you were saying, none of that censorship and cancel culture crap's going to happen here. If you approve the project, it's approved, it's up, it's good to go. No amount of wham from some blue hairs is going to get it pulled down.
Look, I'm not easily offended.
Right.
Because, I always tell people I used to have feelings, but I don't anymore. They didn't wake up with me. If I had feelings, you could hurt them, but those are gone. So
yeah.
So I'm not easily offended, right? So I know if I see it and it's offensive, then I know it's pretty bad, right?
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, whoa, hold on, all right?
Whoa, hey.
So that's kind of my judge on things. If I raise an eyebrow to it, like, we might need to pull that back just a little bit. But the thing is, everyone has been really good about staying within the safe for work boundaries. They really have, and I think they understand what we're trying to do. We're running promotions that are everywhere from 3% standard platform fee all the way down to a 1% platform fee.
Right.
So that you guys can keep more of your own money. It's fun. It's one of the more enjoyable aspects of comics right now, for me anyway.
Yeah, speaking of which, Anthony wanted to know, Anthony's my publisher, those that don't know, how do we do the thing where we tip the platform? Is that something you can DM him about?
You get a running start.
Yeah, you need a running start. Lower the shoulder.
Yeah.
Lower haunches.
Hit low.
That's what you want. Lower, yeah, hit low. Am I describing cow tipping? Here's what you do. You go to your checkout, tip. That tips the platform right there.
Never tipped a cow, but I've
Well,
never
no,
had
I
one
meant
wait on me
I
either.
meant us, the publisher. How do we tip? There's a way to tip to stay on the front page. I mean, we're on the front page right now, but we want to stay there.
No,
Should
you
be the
can't.
first window
You
in the
can't.
campaign.
You
Oh,
can't.
okay.
Your backers do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's up to
okay.
your backers to do that. No, this ain't a pay to play, brother.
Okay. I didn't
No.
know.
You can't be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Luke, I'm gonna slip you a hundy. I'm
Mhm.
gonna slip you a hundy.
I
and
was
put it
going
on
to
that front
slide you.
page.
I was going to slide you a
Hundo.
tenner. I was going to slide you a tenner. See?
And a tenner wouldn't get you nowhere.
Yeah, see?
I cost more than that. I cost more than that to bribe me. No, it's backwards to do it.
All right. So if you want to tip, fund my comic.
Your backers have to say, here's a tip. This deserves to be on the front page. If they don't do that,
That's what I was looking for. I knew such a thing existed.
it's your backers that do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a Randy Zim. We don't have
There you
Mr.
go.
Rogers.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's how you do that. Hey guys, check this out. We've got this new thing. We're adding another aspect of this as an expanded calculator where you can actually budget your campaign. But let's say, what did you raise on the pink site with your campaign that you did?
I think 2,800.
Which is, it's not bad.
Right.
It's not bad. That's especially on the first campaign.
Well, not bad
took-
considering I was shadow banned.
Yeah, they took you 243.48 of that come out of your pocket.
Right. Exactly right.
That come up out of your pocket.
Yeah. All the while showing me how much they hated me and my project. They took that money.
If you just do the standard 3% from us, non-exclusive, it's 178.72.
Right.
You are keeping $64.75. Isn't this helpful? If you do a 30-day exclusive, you keep $96 more.
We are exclusive to FMC.
You're exclusive.
Yeah.
Doc, you're more than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're more than that.
Oh. Oh my.
I meant to
Oh
tell
my.
you. I meant to
Oh
tell
my.
you because it's under a publisher, and Anthony publishes everything through Fund My Comic. He gets the special ambassador program. You're keeping. You would have saved 126.81.
Hell yeah. That'll buy a cup of coffee.
Yep.
That'll buy 2 cups of coffee
Hey, you can do
And a scone.
magic with that.
and a
You can do-
scone, baby.
Yeah.
So this is a great way, and it's easy if you're out there and you're like, hey, how do I get in that ambassador program? What you do is you go to support@fundmycomic.com. You email Luke. You say, hey, Luke, how do I get that freaking ambassador program? And I'll talk you through what we're looking at and what's expected of you
Right.
to do that, right? And it all
Right.
comes down to recruitment and bringing multiple campaigns to the platform all year long. Like that's
Well,
really what it's about.
consider me an ambassador because I will never endorse anyone except Fund My Comic.
There
Well,
you
that's
go.
why Dark Gift Comics is under the publisher. We offer that deal to publishers and ambassadors. So that's what we do there. So yeah, that's
Fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that off there for a second because, show how not only are we not shadow banning or censoring people, but really it's about saving. Because one thing you said that you made money with fine arts, but you weren't making money.
Right.
Not
Right.
making much money with comic books.
Right. Yeah. True story about that, by the way. My
Yes.
wife pointed out, honey, you can do a painting in a day that sells for thousands, and you're working for months on this comic book to make less than what one painting sells for. And I went, yeah.
Right.
There you
So
go.
why do
Progress.
you do it, Doc? So why do you do it?
Storytelling. I love storytelling. It's my favorite thing.
It shows. It really does show, Doc. It does. But that's why people that are really passionate about storytelling, and that's why, we're trying to make it to where it's it's more feasible for you.
Right.
I mean, $160 don't sound like much, but when you think about stretch goals and shipping and and
yes.
books at $2 a book, okay, or $2.60 a book on some cases, right? To get that printed here in the U.S., small print run, that's going a long way. I mean, that's another.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know, that's another 40, 50 books, depending on what the cost of the book is.
Yeah.
You know.
And this whole book for me, particularly Jake Bishop. So just quick overview. Pariah is 3 parts and done. It's 3 graphic novels and it's finished. Jake Bishop is my project until they put me in the ground. I love that noir. This is my love letter to those old movies that would come on rainy Sunday mornings on TBS and or after midnight on the UHF channels, Casablanca and the Maltese Falcon. And
dude, UHF.
Are you familiar with Mike Hammer?
Great stuff.
Yes.
TV show?
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah.
All those old great radio programs, the Hard-Boiled Detectives, they're all available online.
Yeah, and I love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite movie of all time is Casablanca.
Wait, look at that. Look at what you're sandwiched between down here on this front page. Look at what you're sandwiched between.
Where am I?
Oreo.
You're sandwiched between Hybrids and the Shadow Kingdom.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
that ain't a bad place to be.
No, I'm very pleased with
You're a few
everything.
rows down, but
Yeah, but if you want to go up, you got to
tip the
look up a
platform, you'll get
Benjamin.
higher up there.
Yeah.
Send him up the list.
Yeah.
So if you out there just want a great throwback to just when the men were men and the women weren't, and those wonderful old stories about the hard-bitten private eye, not the least bit of a message in it anywhere, just a good story, then this book is for you.
It looks fun. So how did you get hooked up with Anthony as your publisher?
We were talking about it the other day, and neither one of us can remember how it happened. Met Anthony, and we were hanging out. The first show I ever went on was Will Red's, back before Will Red kind of refined his show into a review show. It was just always blood sports and craziness. I was on there, and I met
general
Anthony.
comic book stuff.
Yeah. Met Anthony on there, and he was a cool guy. And I don't remember who reached out to who, but it just happened.
Who did the reach around? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember who was the pitcher and who was the catcher.
Yeah,
but
it was lovingly.
Yeah,
and that's what counts.
Yeah, that's right. It was a gentle. It was a gentle experience.
Yeah.
Genteel.
Man, everyone's gay once in a while.
But we hit it off really well, and we worked together really well. We can get backstage and excuse me, we fight and scratch and scream and holler and pitch fits, but always come to a good decision.
Good. And so
hay fever's getting me.
That's all right. So you guys work on the book. You went from selling paintings for thousands to selling books for tens.
Right, right.
For dollars, working for pennies here, and
Yep.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
That's amen, hallelujah, and pass the ammo.
But it's all about the storytelling and the love and the passion for doing this thing.
Yes, it is.
So,
it is.
So this story, this character is the one that you're most passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, I love Elizabeth Payne. The intensity of her story is, when I'm writing for her, is just over the top. Jake Bishop is a laid-back, mellow cup of coffee in the morning and a sip of scotch in the evening.
So why did you decide to start this universe with Elizabeth Payne instead of...
Honestly, because that story came to me first. but as I was writing the whole thing, I did the whole story, all three chapters of Pariah. Excuse me. And Jake Bishop features in the second book and the third book, and the more I wrote him, the more I wanted to do this.
I think that there's a something interesting about the hard-boiled detective.
Yeah.
I think my as of more recent movies with the Batman, IP, the Pattinson, more detective-driven Batman,
right,
has been my favorite. Because there's something about a mystery, figuring out. That's why I love these crime genres, true crime. I watched this show called The Thing About Pam, and it turns out the thing about Pam is she's a real bee. But there's that how does the criminal get caught up? How do they get caught? How do the good guys break down the mystery and solve the crime? That stuff is just so interesting, and I think from a human standpoint, we like to see the bad guy get their comeuppance.
Right.
But we also like to watch or read those stories and think, can I figure it out? Can I figure it out as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and this
there's a
first
point of
one,
pride when you do figure it out before the.
Sure. This first one is less of a whodunit and more of a tracking down the guy done it. So he gets his comeuppance. He's
Those
vanished. He's dropped off the radar. So we're tracking him down. We follow him. We follow Jake Bishop, tracking down every crumb he can find to get to Morelli.
But there's different ways to apply that, though.
Like that.
Say it again,
so
please.
He's got magical powers.
Yes. Yeah. He didn't want to get shot, so he disassembled dude's weapon.
Well, I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming through the window or the door would be a problem, so he has the ability. His teleporting is called shadow stepping, so he shadow steps through the wall. His trench coat is bulletproof. It's nigh indestructible. If you shoot him, it'll hurt him. You can break a rib, you can bruise his liver, but it's not going to penetrate it. Its other ability
Unless you
is
shoot him in the face.
Yeah, if he falls, it kind of feather falls him. He won't fall to his death. Can't fly, but the trench coat protects him, and then his fedora protects him from mind scans. He's invisible to psychics.
Like the Magneto helmet.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't know Magneto did that, but yeah.
Yeah. No, the helmet, like he shields himself from Xavier with that helmet.
Okay, all right.
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Yeah.
That
That's
guy.
a mumbler in chief right there.
Yeah. America can be summed up in one word.
Don't. That's it. Yeah.
He doesn't know how accurate that really was, though. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That word totally describes where we're living right now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Doc, this has been great. I'm looking forward to this book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love having your input today on some of these articles we read. Crazy news day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
A little bit crazy. Now, we talked about C2E2. We didn't talk about Malin getting escorted out. And so he went to, I don't know if you guys know this, but he went to C2E2. People have different thoughts, different views on this one. But
He really got escorted out, huh?
He got escorted out.
Did he say something or do something to get escorted out?
He showed up.
Okay.
He showed up and somebody complained, and escorted him out. But as he was going out, he was so, this is not the John that I see on live streams.
No.
Right.
He was so calm and level-headed and just explaining, he goes, this is only because I'm a conservative. This is because I don't believe men should go in women's bathrooms. I don't think men should compete in women's sports. And I voted for Trump. This is, I've paid for a ticket here. I'm just walking around. I'm enjoying the convention, and he reasoned with the security team, and they contacted someone with the convention, like, look, there's really no reason to kick this guy out. He's not doing or saying anything offensive.
Right.
He's just being here, and they wound up letting him go back in.
He's not even raising a fuss. He's just calmly talking. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so a lot of people aren't talking about it for whatever reason, but
he handled it like a champ, like Bourgeois says.
He did, and I did not expect that from him.
It was mind blowing.
I watched him on live streams, right? I'm like, now that I can stand behind. Good job.
Internet personas, man. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
We saw the real Malin. Yeah. Good job, John Malin.
And in the end, it proves that actions speak louder than words.
And not only that, there's another thing. Like maybe the organizers, because he was live streaming the whole event.
Oh yeah.
Saw the media time bomb it was. If he was kicked out completely, like that would have been a very bad stain.
Right.
For just showing up.
Stain.
Yeah. Agreed. And look, full marks to John for having the presence of mind to handle himself that way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have to agree with John Malin. You don't have to like his art to appreciate how he handled himself. That was well done.
Yeah,
tip my hat to you, sir. I know he doesn't watch this show. He doesn't.
And being banned from just for a difference of opinion is sad and wrong.
Yeah, it really is.
Lived it, been there, done that.
Look, people share booths all the time for C2E2. In fact, I was invited to pay for half of a booth because it's so expensive. Sometimes that's what you have to do.
Right.
And so it's, and as long as both of us are represented on the paperwork, there shouldn't have been a problem. So I didn't agree with their booth getting taken away.
Well, they were looking for an excuse.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. They were looking for an excuse.
It was clear
that
was someone that was on Artist Alley was unhappy with their presence, and they made it stink. Is what happened.
Yep.
Because I mean, it became
so-called professionals in the community.
Clear with that,
Yeah, you're exactly right, Randy. So-called professionals. Look, when I was a counselor, not only did I have to be good at what I did, I had to live up to a code of conduct and be professional.
Yep.
If I acted the way these scree hounds act, these Spurg monsters, I'd have lost my license.
Well, and again, they don't want to give any respect to the industry at all.
Right.
They want to tear this down. That's the objective of some of these people up there working in corporate comics right now, because they see it as horribly toxically masculine.
Yes.
Because of all these male power fantasies that were out there. Instead of doing quality comic books aimed at a larger, wider audience and expanding the art form, they want to contract it by tossing the direct market.
Correct.
But because they don't see it as an industry. This is a community.
That's right.
And he said, big bad meanie pants. It's like, dude.
Well said, Pedro.
That's why I fight back on the community aspect of this, because it's an industry.
Exactly.
And everybody should be allowed to work in the industry if they want to.
That's right. That's right.
And Tim, you got it right. It pays off to sometimes if no one knows you.
Yeah.
I love anonymity. I love that people don't really know who I am.
Right. Exactly.
Which was a little difficult when I started Fund My Comic, because people was like, well, we don't know who are you? Like, because I keep my mouth shut and I stay out of it. That's why. This is by design, my friends.
Yes.
But more and more people are starting to know who I am, and I've seen, I've been.
Yeah, you're out there now, Luke. It's too late for you.
I've been to a couple of conventions now where I see people over there looking over at me and whispering. I'm like, I know what they're talking about.
Listen, I'm not the con guy. I'm not the con guy. I did one con back in the 90s, and that was enough to last me a lifetime. That place smelled like foot and ass, and it was a horrible experience.
If you're going to make a Yankee Candle,
foot and ass.
That was called
convention.
That was called convention.
Foot and ass. Yeah.
Convention. It would be the aroma of foot and ass. But so Anthony is going to do the cons for us. I don't have to. He can go do it.
We're under 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's good. That's good. When we start getting Fund My Comic out to the conventions, I'll do some of them, but the majority of those will be handled by Phil Avelli.
Yeah.
He'll be the guy there because he'll be doing that and promoting some of the other stuff we're doing with Iron Age distribution, which that business has had to take kind of a back seat a little bit because of the just because of all the infighting and stuff, and it's just getting real stupid. And,
Always
I'm real
does.
sick of these people acting like a bunch of baby, like a
Beavis and Buttheads.
be a bunch of Beavises, yeah.
Sissy lawas.
It is what it is. But we're here to make comics and have a good time.
I just want to tell stories.
Fun, Doc. Yeah,
I just want to tell stories.
Yep.
I like that you stay out of it. People, I do what I want. I think that's what I like
We're
about
here to make comics and chew bubblegum. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just want to point out before we leave, Fund My Comic, The Shadow Kingdom. It's right next to Doc's book down there. We've got over 210 backers now. That the campaign's only going to be up for the next couple of days. So go over there and grab it now, or don't get it at all. I'm afraid. This time, it's currently going. The print files are done. They're heading towards the printer if they're not already there by now. The Shadow Kingdom's based on a Robert E. Howard story. It's a great story.
Hell yeah, it is.
Great product. Can't recommend it to you enough.
How can you not love Robert E. Howard properties, man? Come
Just
on.
amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go over there and take a look.
Before we go, guys, if you're an artist and your writer gives you a 7-panel page with only crowds in each panel,
kill him.
Yeah.
Fire him.
Yeah.
Just murder him.
Get an editor.
The courts will be lenient on you.
Well, I was going to say they would also be understanding if they send you I need a fight scene, 7 panels on this page taking place in a stairwell. Go straight to hell. I'm not doing it. Yeah. They're fighting in an elevator. Fuck off. I'm not doing the stairs.
They're fighting in an elevator.
Get a hitman. But that time, just get a hitman.
Guys, this has been fun. It's been real. Remember, go out there and make something. Build up more than you tear down. Leave the woodpile higher than you find it. By all means, my friends, please be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 218 double user GTA, and several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide, arson, robbery, rape, everybody gets their share.